maximum armor, all the guns. But QuakeWorld is Quake 1 is a very simple game. It's the rocket launcher, it's the lightning gun. Those are the two big damaging weapons. And this is going to be, this map might be a little bit too small for 4 players. We're going to find out together how this actually pans out. I'm quite excited. Again, a bunch of new challengers just stepping up. And we'll be off with Mr. Mark Morris to begin with. And he's going to be spawning on the high ground of the map. And a lot of this comes down to trading damage in a clean way. You want to try to maintain your stack, get some cheeky damage in there. But with FFA, with free-for-all, you always have the option to actually steal away frags and sort of play the perimeter, as it were, to try to protect that stack of yours and make sure that your opponents can't get a lead on you. And we can already see that. Mark Morris actually taking very little damage, doing a good damage output, but you have to get the frags here. Again, otherwise opponents can finish off what could be a kill and a score for yourself. And again, Quake, always super simple, always just about the frags, just as we remember it. So eventually Mark Morris is going to go down, and looking at the scoreboard very quickly, we can see that it's actually Kieran who's getting all the kills at the moment. Let's see if we can switch over to Kieran. There's Kieran there from, they said they weren't going to be teaming up. I guess that remains to be seen here. Both Kieran and Kenji from Spike Trap. And we can already see after a minute has passed, 8 minutes left to go, that Kieran's actually doing some good work. He's 2 frags at the moment. Rodrigo's there behind him with 1. And so far, we actually have a situation where Kenji and Mark Morris have yet to actually make a frag. So they need to start getting some work done, but this can turn around very quickly. Again, it's all about getting good positioning and picking your fights very effectively. Just trying to make sure that you don't take the fights, let your opponents do the work, and then see if you can get some finishing blows. And Kieran, you can see he's been practicing for sure here. Trying to do the rocket jump there to the red armor. That will give you 200 stack, maxes out your armor, which is going to be around 75% protection from damage. Managed to find the yellow, but it will be no help to him. Mark Morris finally on the board. And now we'll have a tie situation between Kieran and Mr. Morris. Very nice defensive play there from Kieran, using those rockets, but very, very weak. Needs to try to find a way to stack back up here without taking too much damage from his opponents. And, just one rocket will do it. That is it. breakage, or Mr. Morris back in there with one more. And that may actually put him in the lead. In fact, no, it's Kieran in the lead here still. So lots of fragging action on Airwalk. You can see that the players have no trouble finding one another. There's still quite a bit of time here to recover some of the lost lead that a couple of the players are facing off against. Kenji actually tied things up. He's 2 there with breakage. Kieran with a narrow lead there of 1 frag. You can see the focus around the red armor here. Very important armor to try to grab. It's going to offer you a lot of protection. You actually only need 50 health to use the entire red armor due to its 75 protection. But you can see that Kieran couldn't quite find it in time. It's Rodrigo bearing down with the lightning gun instead. That will prevent that from happening. Kieran still in a good position here, leading with 4, or rather actually Rodrigo now is leading with 4 frags. Kieran trying to equalize here. Lots of action with the lightning gun. Very high damage, 30 damage per cell. Very, very strong stuff. I believe it's 120 DPS. So very, very damaging weapon. If you can land a direct rocket, that's 110 damage, and we can see the players are spawning on around 400 points of health and armor overall together. And once again, usually a quad would spawn in that position, but we've got that turned off for now. I think a quad would make it a little bit too chaotic, but you can see lots of trading frags there at the top level as these players instinctively realize that if you go onto the upper levels, get that better positioning, it's going to afford you better opportunities to get those frags. Still following Kieran here. Give Rodrigo some love. He seems to be doing a lot of work. Over to Rodrigo. You can see that pinpoint accuracy coming into play with the lightning gun, taking all the fights here, understanding that if you can get those players in those corridors, the lightning gun becomes incredibly powerful as it's very difficult for them to dodge. Rodrigo, very, very fast action, fast work here. We can see that it was a slow start for him, but now he's really just crushing everyone. This is looking pretty dominant. He's 2 frags ahead, able to do so much work with that lightning gun as everything continues here. But again, there's still time here for there to be a recovery from some of our contestants. You see that finally they'll be fighting fire with fire. Rodrigo actually challenged there by Kieran on the LG, but very nice catch there. Uses the rocket, pops him up. Kieran gets nailed by the lightning gun in the end. Eventually the frag gets traded out, but Rodrigo's doing the right thing. He's getting the kills. And that is so often the dilemma here. You do a lot of the damage just only to have somebody else finish off the frag. So Rodrigo still in a good position here, using that high ground. Kenji, though, a bit more stack in that armor. Sorry, in that fight. Using that extra armor to his advantage. Ooh, doing a lot of damage. Again, the splash on these rockets is absolutely massive. So these tight areas of the map can be very effective to try to control your enemy's movement using those rockets. Another reason why that high ground can be very, very effective. But again, this map might be a little bit too small here. It's going to be down to who is better at the raw fighting skills. And so far, it's looking pretty close here between Rodrigo and Breakage, and actually Kieran getting himself up to 9 frags as well. So only 1 frag separating our leader here, which is Rodrigo, between the rest of the pack. Kenji on 6, struggling a bit at the moment, but there is still some time remaining. You can see there's 5 minutes left in this one. 2 frags ahead now is Kieran. Let's switch over to Kieran, see how things are from his perspective. Oh, there we go. Kieran struggling there for some armor points, trying to escape the fights, trying to play outside here. You don't really want to take engagements if you're not stacked up. And of course, it's all about picking the right fights. Learning when to disengage if the fight doesn't look like it's panning out your way. Giving yourself the option to do that can be quite difficult on a map like this, as small as this. That's great lightning work there from Kieran, showing exactly why he's doing so well at the moment. Again, the lightning gun does so much damage. You're able to connect every single cell. You will just melt these players. And right now, Kieran might be able to do just enough damage to get himself back towards a lead. But in fact, I think he is holding on to it right now. Another one for Kieran. Finding a very weak Rodrigo, looking to bear down upon Boris as well, and he makes it work. Right now, Kieran's going on an absolute tear here. He's, again, very slow start from him, but he's really starting to find his groove after 5 minutes of play. Really starting to remember exactly how this all works. And that's one of the things we commonly find in this competition. Again, most players, they won't have had much practice. Maybe they've had some years since they last played, but it's like riding a bike when you're playing Quake. It comes back all too quickly. Not too much time left at this point now, but Kieran's still holding on to a pretty strong lead. We can see him there, up there with 18 frags. Closest, now 19 make it, as Rodrigo's down to 15 as the second man in the running. And this is only going to allow one person to qualify when the time is over. We don't have two people going through. It is only one joining the rest in the playoff brackets. And Kieran looks like he may be destined for that. He's forged quite a strong lead here. We're seeing pretty good rocket jumping as well. Not really seeing a single mistake there. Takes some time to line it up, but it's good every time when he does. Will eventually be traded out there, but it does look like Kieran's presenting the best fighting skills. He's just taking more and more fights here. Knows the lightning gun is really the key to winning these battles and closing down the kills. Sometimes when you engage with the rockets, you might bounce your opponents away, and you may be in a position where you won't be able to follow up to get the finishing blows. Kieran seems to have found a pretty good route around the map as well. Good areas to use this lightning gun, just trying to drill on his opponents with that LG. More drilling than an episode of Home Improvement, perhaps, as Kieran is looking very strong. Eventually does get taken out, making his way into a rocket, which I don't think was even meant for him, but that's how it goes. Still, looking quite good at the moment. Having another check on the situation. Looks like actually Morris has managed to find his way back into a running here. He's somehow taken the lead away from Kieran. I barely believe it. I have no idea how he's managed to pull this one off. Very just silent fragging from behind the scenes here. Breakage or Mark Morris now in the lead, but only by one frag. This is going to go down to the wire as we start to come into the closing moments. Some free damage, but actually just ends up softening things up there for Kieran to get a frag. Very heartbreaking stuff there from Breakage. We'll have to see if he can make a recovery as he gets taken down by Rodrigo, and things start to tighten up once again. We've got Breakage and Kieran tied for 22 each. It looks like it's really just between these two. And as we say that, we see Kieran pulling into the lead. Let's check out his perspective as he tries to close the match out there, hold on to this lead that he has. Does get taken down by Breakage, which will equalize the difference between the two players. Both fighting for that first place. Second place gets nothing. Second place gets eliminated. And that suicide is not going to help things here. Kieran, though, looking pretty good. Is lacking the armor. Time is up now. Is a sudden death here. It's really up to Kieran, and it's up to Breakage. And it's going to be Kieran who's able to qualify through to the playoff bracket. Wow, that was very close. Hands together for Kieran. Amazing performance there. Really demonstrated a great understanding of exactly how to get the most out of the lightning gun. And that is how you're going to close down the kills. That's how you're going to get the win. And that's what we saw here. So I know we're going to have a lot of the players from the playoff bracket looking to see who the dangerous men are. And I think Kieran's definitely forged a name for himself already. It'll be interesting to see how that dynamic pans out. Let's see. We may have an interview ready with the winner and the loser in a moment.
Come on.
As if Rachel is ready. But either way, if you guys enjoyed that, we have a lot more coming up very soon. Of course, we've got one more free-for-all bracket to decide who is the other player to go through to the playoff bracket. And looks like Rachel is ready with our winner.
I was in awe backstage watching this play out, but in reverse. So congratulations on your victory. I saw it forwards and backwards. I want to know what went into your performance here today. Tell me about the training regime. Tell me about everything you did.
I think the important part is I figured there'd be lights, so I brought the baseball cap to help reduce the glare on the glasses.
That's a smart play. You're not going to let one thing escape you on this path to victory here, because we have an incredible opportunity for our winner. Now, by winning this group play, you are in fact going on to bracket play. And I do believe that you're going to be playing against Randy Pitchford. So how does that feel to go one-on-one with him?
I heard he's a great guy. I'm very excited for perhaps some generosity in play, but we'll see.
We did talk a little bit about what we're here to do, and that is to win some money for a charity of our winner's choice. Do you have a charity in mind?
I do, the NRDC, the National Resource Defense Council.
And why is that charity special to you?
It covers everything. It's to protect our resources, our people, our planet, all the good stuff.
That sounds incredible. Now, I happen to notice that you guys do work together, if I'm not mistaken. I am a little curious if there was some collusion here. Were you perhaps feeding him some kills?
Maybe a little bit, but I'll take the fifth on that one.
All right. Well, I like that you guys came out here as part of a team effort. Congratulations on the effort you put in. We're going to be seeing more gameplay from you, but I want to thank everybody that played in Group 1. Excellent job from all our competitors. A little round of applause. You guys out there, just keep enjoying your drinks, for sure. All right, Dan, we have another group to get going here. So, gentlemen, I'm going to have to ask you to vacate your very comfortable seats provided by Maxnomic. And thank you so much for your participation. Kieran will be seeing more from you in just a little bit. Now, while we swap over our competitors, while we get some new people installed, I do want to thank you all for coming for this wonderful event. As we said, we're raising some money for charity here, and we're also shedding some light on the history of competitive gaming and what it means to be a competitive gamer. We see a lot of pro players play these days in all kinds of tournaments for all kinds of prize pools, and it's a lot of work. So we're putting some unconventional players to the test in our tournaments here today. And as we move into Group B and our second set of competitors, we can see them lining up over here, just about set. Gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to come on down here and pick out some seats. It's very important. This is the winner of Group 1 seat. Would you perhaps like this one, Leo? Excellent choice. And Brendan, you can come on here and join me right here. Now, both you gentlemen, I hope, are no strangers to FPS, but we're going to give them some time to get their settings all set. Make sure everything is comfortable for competition. And I hope you don't mind me shouting you out, Brendan, but Brendan over here might be familiar to some of you for his work on a little game called PlayerUnknown's Battleground. It's an incredible game that has taken the internet by storm, and it has raised our expectations, Brendan, for your play here today. I am a little bit curious. Do you play a lot of FPS these days?
A little, but I'm going to die a lot. Oh.
How does it feel to have these expectations weighing upon you as you settle into your competitor's chair?
I think I'm going to fail a lot. Yeah.
I like that. You're setting expectations low, so you're going to blow us all away. Well, thank you so much. What's that, Brendan?
Beginner's luck.
Beginner's luck. Well, I do want to ask you, Brendan, we have a lot of charities that different competitors are playing for here today. Do you have a charity in mind that you'd like to send your winnings to, should you win?
Yeah, if I win, I want to support Gamers Outreach. We've worked with them before, and they do great work with kids in hospitals. So, yeah, that's where I'll be going.
An incredible cause. I'll let you get to your settings now. And actually, I'm going to throw it over to Dan. Dan, who do you got on your side for competitors?
Well, some very interesting contestants. We were just talking about Space Pirate. Killed many an hour on that one. So, but, I mean, why don't you guys introduce yourselves to the world at large? You perhaps have not heard of you.
Go ahead.
Hey, I'm Andrew Holshot. I'm representing New Blood here tonight. I'm a composer in the music industry, just kind of work back and forth from game to game. Dave Oshry is here for support, right behind me. Let's go, Andrew! See, right there. And if I win, I'd like to donate it to my actual local VFW.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, you redid all the music for Brutal Doom, right? So, I know I do my research. Okay, so that's pretty awesome. So clearly you stepped up to this very old school game. I feel like maybe you have something up your sleeve.
We'll see.
Okay, we'll see. I like that. Keeping the expectations, just setting the bar low for now.
As long as I don't have to duck and cover, we're all good.
Okay, fair enough. Well, some very old school action, much like Doom, although a real 3D engine, so all the sprites. But so you authored Space Pirates. Tell us more about your endeavors in the gaming universe and whether this is a foreign experience for you.
It is totally foreign because I was used to playing Quake 3, and then it was Quake, so it's totally new for me.
I did actually try to get them to change it to Quake 3. I'm sorry. I'll try harder next time. But so how do you feel about your chances?
My chances, I played once online last week, and I was playing against a player that I never saw, and he killed me like 30 times.
Okay. Well, on that note, I think we'll let the.
Can I say one more thing? Hi, Taya. That's all.
Perfect. Right. Well, back to you then, Rachel. I think we have had enough words over here.
Thanks, Dad. I'm under fire over here. I'm trying to dodge the selfies that Brendan and Leo are taking. Now, Leo, as you settle into your chair, I don't want to let you get too comfortable because I do have a couple questions to ask you. You come to us from the great website of Facebook. Thank you, first of all, for taking the time to hang out with us lowlanders. We appreciate it. But what brings Facebook to DICE? You guys are doing some incredible things with gaming these days, and I'm excited to see what comes from this.
Awesome, thanks. Oh, it's just play fun games, meet with all of our friends and partners, and have a really good time. You know?
Well, speaking of playing fun games, I want to know, how prepared are you to enter into this Quake competition?
After at least 97 hours of practice, I'm totally ready to go. It's going to be amazing. Not.
That sounds convincing. I'm imagining some montage with a little like push-ups and punching bags and clicking. But, you know, it is something serious we're playing for here. We're going to raise some money. We're going to send it out to a charity of your choice. Do you have a charity that you'd prefer?
Absolutely. Women Who Code.
Women Who Code, that's an incredible charity. Is it a charity you've interacted with before?
Yeah, we've done some work with them in the past, and I just think it's really, really important. And, you know, the more inclusivity and diversity we can bring to the game space, absolutely the better.
All right, right on. Well, I'm going to let you guys get into the competition here. I know Brendan's got some time now on the mouse that you're a little bit jealous of. So go, practice, warm up, warm up. Dan, talk a little bit so he has some time. I'm giving it back up to you on stage.
Yeah, this is interesting, isn't it? We've got a bit of a mixed bag, but we like to see that. We like to see that. You can most often get your most accomplished competitors just coming out of nowhere, it seems, in this competition usually. For example, I believe that Sean Dunn, who won the first year, he sort of just was there in the foyer and he saw what's going on and we needed a stand-in. He stood in and just won. So you never quite know. So we'll be going live. So it's more of the same map, same settings, of course, for the second bout of free-for-all. So 10 minutes for these players to find out exactly who will be the top dogs on an aerial walk. And we're going to start off with Player Unknown. Let's do that. See what Brendan's got to show us. So already Player Unknown, spawning around the red armor position, and actually picking up a stray frag there, a stray rocket connecting. You love to see that. Again, the rockets actually travel very, very quickly in this game, which is very enjoyable. It feels just very good. It feels very cathartic to shoot rockets in Quake 1. Generally, I think the rest of the iterations of Quake, the rockets were all a lot slower, except some mods here or there. Either way, Player Unknown doing a decent job surviving at the moment, but you've got to do more than survive. You've got to use your wits, you've got to use as much positioning as possible to get the most damage output and really secure those frags. Something we saw that Kieran did very, very well just previously with the lightning gun. You see Player Unknown getting his bearings at the moment. Right now, not too much fragging happening. I think everybody's sort of adjusting to their settings, adjusting to the map, adjusting to the occasion here. Some free-for-all action on a game that is very old indeed. I believe Quake came out in 1996, so it's been going for a while, for quite some time. In fact, I do believe it was the first proper 3D engine as well. A lot of the older games, you know, your Dooms, your Hexens, and so on and so forth. I mean, it looked 3D, but it just operated with, you know, sprites. It wasn't true 3D. So Quake, or the id Tech 1 engine, very, very prolific. Of course, Half-Life came out of it as well. But enough trivia. Let's have an update, see who is doing what. Andrew, you're leading the charge here. It's pretty close between the four players, though. Let's switch over to Andrew, see exactly what sort of strategies and tactics he's employing to try to get an edge. And we can already see some similar choices here to what Kieran was doing so well, and indeed finding a backstab there with the lightning gun. Very effective, so much damage output. If you can just connect that solid stream of lightning damage, it's all over for your opposition. Andrew also trying to use that high ground, taking the moment to dive down to the lower positions of the map to try to take some fights here, getting in the thick of it. Oh, this could be two, not quite, just the one. We'll see things are equalizing here between pretty much everybody. The paparazzi right there at the bottom. Hopefully he won't stay there for too long. They're in the doldrums. It can be hard to work your way back into the frags once you are separated from the main pack of players. Andrew still rocking that lightning gun to great effect. And I think that's really what we're seeing the players find the most effective, which actually is, I wouldn't have expected that. I would have thought that people would find more success with the rockets. They're a bit more forgiving. As you can see, massive splash damage there. Really nice placement from Andrew to do even more damage. Switch there to the lightning gun as we see the pursuit there. Catching players in the back. That's exactly what you want to do. Pinning paparazzi there. A double kill coming in from Andrew. Beautiful stuff. Doing some great work, but he's not as ahead as you might think he would be. We have the one, the only space pirate there. Right behind him there. 8 frags for him. Andrew up there on the top with 9, leading at the moment as the fragging continues around the map. The action never really stops. There's no period where you can calm down, where you can, you know, loot away. There's no looting in Quake. Quake is pure. No loot. Only lightning and rockets flying all over the place. Andrew still doing quite a good job here, trying to maintain his position on the top. Really fighting very well with that lightning gun. It's a pleasure to see, but we can actually see that, much like our first qualifier, you think that you're on the winning play, you think you're on the guy that's doing the most damage, it's looking good, but in reality, we have a lot of quiet fragging coming in from Mr. Space Pirate. So I have to see whether or not that is going to continue here, but it was a pretty sizable lead. It was 3 frags, Andrew closing the distance to 11, but still we see Space Pirate leading the way. Let's see if he can continue with that lightning gun work, still piling on the damage, not quite finding the kill. There's one, Andrew able to be taken out with that LG of Space Pirate. It was very low. Quite fortunate find there for Mr. Space Pirate, but indeed it will be player unknown to take him down eventually. Stop his reign of terror for just the moment before he swings straight back into it, using the rockets to change things up a little bit. Space Pirate is 2 frags ahead of Andrew. There's 5 minutes remaining now. We can switch over to Andrew to see what kind of efforts we can expect from Andrew to get himself back into the running again. Only the winner, only the number 1 in this FFA, this free-for-all, will go through to the playoff bracket. And it looks like the lead is really, really coming together here for Space Pirate. 4 frags in the lead. Player unknown will be able to trade a kill there with the rockets, but right now it just all comes down to getting these frags in the bag, and so far it is all Space Pirate. Some good efforts there from Andrew. Gets a telefrag actually. Again, very much a Quake thing, a telefrag. So great to see that making an appearance early today here. That's our 3rd annual Faceit Quake tournament at DICE. Now, let's have a check on the scoreboard here. Space Pirate up at the top with 17. Andrew at 15 there, desperately trying to catch up. Player unknown with 11, and Paparazzi there with 4. So don't really think that the comeback is available for Paparazzi, but maybe, just maybe, Player unknown could get a nice string of frags here to try to make the difference. But I think it's all about Andrew at the present. Only a mere 2-3 frags away from a Space Pirate, who is leading at the moment. Andrew doing some good work here with the LG around the corners, around the very tight corridors. Let's have another switch up here. Let's go back to Space Pirate. See exactly why he is in the lead and has been for so very long. Back at it again with the rockets, with the lightning gun. Seems to be very versatile here. Not really picking one weapon in particular to specialize on, really trying to adapt to the situation at hand and finding all 3 players all together, and he comes out on top, getting 1 kill out of that and still surviving, still doing damage, still increasing his lead. That does not bode well for his opposition. As I say that though, Andrew somehow, just as I switched away, maybe I am the curse here, is actually pulling himself into the lead. I have no idea how he managed to pull it off, but all this lightning gun action has definitely begun to pan out here for Andrew as he continues his work. 2 quick kills, and now he's 3 in the lead. Just like that, he is really in a great position to try to secure this one. Space Pirate now, the gauntlet has been thrown to him to try to find a way back into this one. It's going to be quite difficult to do so though, as it does seem like Andrew's really found his groove. He's got a nice route around the map. Okay, he's got very low health and armor, but he keeps finding these engagements where he catches players unawares. The element of surprise is what this is all about. Andrew still looking very good at the moment. Full stack for him to work with. Gets popped up there, and that actually serves to disengage him from the fight and get back in there with a backstab, and it results in another kill. Andrew is just commanding the battlefield so expertly at the moment to bring himself into this 3-frag lead. And there's only a couple minutes left for someone to try to catch up here. The only threat really is Space Pirate, who's trailing by a mere 3 kills. Definitely a very big difference here between our players. But Andrew and Space Pirate definitely head and shoulders above the rest of the competition here on Aerowalk for the time being. Another telefrag making his way in there. Andrew is going to fall victim to that as he gets pushed around here by Space Pirate. That is exactly what you need to do. Take Andrew out of the picture. Space Pirate trying to close in here. 2 frags to go to try to make this happen. Let's go back to Space Pirate, see if he can do it here. Fresh off the spawn, pulls out the LG. Really ahead in this fight, but he's going to try to chase it down. Can he close it? It looks good for it. There it is. Paparazzi falls, and that's 1 more in the bag here for Space Pirate. Under 2 minutes now for him to pick up 3 kills. It seems that he's just not able to frag fast enough. He's doing good work, but Andrew has really just found something else at the moment. And it takes a stroke of luck. I think maybe Space Pirate just found it. Two players, very weak. He finds them with that LG, able to finish them both off. And that is making a difference here. We get a tie situation. Andrew, though, retaking the lead, up to 31 frags, now up to 32 frags. Space Pirate, he needs one more to tie this. 15 seconds remaining. Space Pirate needs one kill. 10 seconds, he still just needs one kill. Can't quite find it. 5 seconds left to find a kill. And can he manage to make it happen against Andrew himself? No, he can't do it. It's Andrew who gets the kill and takes a spot into the playoff bracket here at the 3rd annual Faceit Quake tournament at DICE. Congratulations to Andrew, commiserations to his victims, but that was a beautiful display. And again, we're going to have a winner's interview. Rachel's down on the floor with our winner.
Thank you, Dan. I'm just letting them bask in it for a minute here. That was an excellent celebration, Andrew. I wish I could get that out of my professional gamers on the daily. But both of you, I do want to talk to you because Space Pirate, you were doing an incredible job here. You were neck and neck there in the finals at the end. Andrew, how did you squeak it out?
I just kept going back and forth between the lightning gun and the rocket launcher, just figuring out which slip gate went where. And I'm like, oh, cool. I can just backtrack into this slip gate and then look for the opponent coming down to me.
On this?
That's all fake. I'm not actually telling you my strategy.
Yeah, you gotta hold on to that strategy because we have bracket play coming up, and you, sir, have qualified to move on into that bracket play. Now, Space Pirate, you put up a hell of a fight. Tell me about how you got all this dual FPS experience.
I was trying to hit his keyboard, and I was trying to move his mouse, but it was too far away, and so my concentration was gone.
Well, both of you managed to stay ahead of the competition. It was a joy to watch. Andrew, I can't wait to see some more from you. What do you want to say to the people?
Let's play some Quake.
Let's play some Quake. You strike me as a man that has played some Quake in his day.
Let's play some Quake, and let's play some Dusk. Yeah, Dusk.
We're going to allow that here. We're going to allow that at DICE. Andrew, I know you got a charity in mind here. You definitely have the skills to carry yourself forward. So now it's time to really start thinking seriously about this. Who were you fighting for?
I want to donate it to my local VFW.
Okay.
Like, there's actually a VFW that my girlfriend Taya, her grandfather is a part of, and I'd like to donate it to them.
Heck yeah. Our veterans are so, so important. What an incredible cause. Thank you, Andrew, for your play. Thank you, Space Pirate, and the entirety of Group 2. Brendan, Leo, you guys did phenomenal. We're going to be seeing a little bit more from Andrew in just a second, but now up on the stage, we are getting set up for the first of our bracket matches. So I'm going to throw it up to Dan for a quick little bracket review.
Yeah, things are really shaping up now. We have our lovely contestants through to fill everything out. Now we've got Nicola Meister right at the top there. Of course, this tournament was, partly him. Of course, he's the CEO of Faceit, so we'll have to see whether or not he's been putting in the hours. He's a very competitive guy. He's probably been playing too much PUBG, but we'll see if he's good for it. He'll be up against Steve Elmore, a return from last year as well. Randy Pitchford, he is one to watch out for. A magician in real life, of course, but also on the server as well. We saw him make his way all the way to the finals last year against Tim Willits, so that'll be a very interesting game as well. We saw Andrew just qualify, spend a lot of time appreciating the old school games, composing music for Doom. I mean, you've got to respect that. He'll be up against Sean Dunn. Now, that's going to be a really interesting one. We already saw that Andrew had great fighting skills. Last year, Sean, we saw that that's the one thing that he's very good at. He's just very aggressive. His fighting skills are very good. Great rockets, great LG, so that's a fantastic matchup. And then to follow, we've got Min Kim and Ryan Wyatt. So an old friend of yours, actually, Rachel, Frizz.
I want him to know, Fwiz, if you're out there, we're in Vegas. I put my money on you, man, so I hope you practiced. You better not disappoint me. But Dan, we have two competitors on the stage now, ready for the first round of our bracket play, and I think we should check in with both of them. How do you feel about that?
Let's do it.
All right. Would you do the honors? Do you want to go first?
Absolutely. Why not? Why not? I'll go over here.
I gotta confer with my player.
So this is a bit weird for me because I kind of have to pretend like I'm not biased. Okay, so I'm here with Nicola Meister, CEO of Faceit. How are you feeling, Nick?
I'm feeling, thank you.
Brilliant. He's memeing us already. Already up with the memes. So Nick, you play this competition every year. I know you're a very competitive guy. Last year we saw you setting up the practice room in the hotel with Tim Willits, and you're playing some LAN together, making sure that you can be ready for the competition. What have you been doing this year?
Nothing, unfortunately. Tim is not here.
And you couldn't find a replacement. But I mean, you've been playing a lot of PUBG. You keep inviting me to duos. It's every day.
Yeah, I think our time was spent mostly playing Battle Royale.
Okay, so it didn't go too well for PlayerUnknown. We just saw Brendan having a bit of a hard time. I think he struggled to find. I think someone changed his. I think there was some match tampering. I think someone changed his binds, and he was unable to use the lightning gun. So there's already been some crazy stuff going on in your competition, Nick. What do you think about this?
I'm ready to go.
Okay, so over to you, Rachel.
Are you throwing that over to me, Dan? We're having a conversation over here. Can you have some respect for our conversation?
I felt like this is going to like a shady place, so I'm just for safety's sake, it's going straight to you.
Yeah, you know what? There's a little bit of favoritism over there from the Faceit department. So I'm going to talk to Steve, make sure that he feels like he's getting a fair play environment. Do you feel like this is fair, Steve?
I think I would do just about as well, whether or not it was fair.
Well, I have to say what tremendous spirit it takes to feel like you're not going to win, but to come out here, to commit to this tournament, to put in the time, and to come up on this stage and play. So what drives you to do that?
You know, it's the longest odds in Vegas that I'm going to win. I'm not just the underdog. I'm the flea on the back of the underdog.
All right, well, I hope the guys down the hallway got the odds on that bet. But we are here. We are playing for charity. There's so many incredible charities out there. Have you made up your mind about one yet?
No, I was a last-minute confirmed spot here, so I haven't picked a charity yet. But in the very small chance that I'm going to win, I'm going to pick something good.
All right, well, I guess you have some time to ruminate on that one, as the path to victory is long. But I'm going to let you get all settled up here, get some extra time on the mouse. And Dan, I'm going to hand it over back to you so we can get this match started.
All right, thank you very much, Rachel. Well, it's very interesting. I mean, I'm not really sure what to make of our two contestants here. On the one hand, we've got Nick over there, who you never know what you're going to get with Nick. He's sort of presenting us the image that he's not ready. But I've never known this guy not to be ready. And Steve, obviously, putting the bar pretty low as well. So we'll have to see who's actually got the goods on the server. That's really the question. So it looks like we are just getting the players on the server. So we'll be good to go in a few moments. But make sure that you start actually getting the support in there, because these players can hear you. Just fixing the observer PC. Okay, I think we're good to go. Technical issues. Fantastic, but we are ready. All right, so it's going to be Steve and Nicolo on Aerial Walk. Our first match of the playoff bracket here is going to be an interesting one. So now we are going to be able to start talking about a bit more strategy, a bit more in the way of tactics. It's not as chaotic. It's not 4 crazy people running around on one map at them anymore. It's just 2 crazy people running around on one map. And so it's going to be about using the sound cues, using the positioning a lot more, finding moments to use the element of surprise, get a cheeky rocket in, understand whether you can take the fight, trying to close the fight down against your opponent who knows that he can't take the fight and is trying to escape your position. So that's what it's all going to be about here as things are now underway. And both players struggling to find an engagement so far, which is kind of the way that I'm going to describe them not being able to find each other, because it sounds a bit more eloquent. So we're going to go with that. But it seems like Nicolo is in the center of the map at the moment, trying to find any sign of Steve. And there it is, Steve just disappearing quickly for a teleporter. Lightning gun comes out. Again, very high damage, but this is also great for the rockets. Really nice rocket there from Nicolo. He's falling back. He's baiting Steve into his rockets. Then when he has done enough damage, he knows he can go back in there for the finish. So already we can see Nicolo, he's got a good sense of how to start the fight, how to control the fight, to make sure that he's good to go. And I hear some laughter there in the crowd. All right, he hasn't been on the server in Quake for a while. You've got to forgive the man for missing a rocket jump or 2. We've all been there. All right, so Nicolo finally nails the rocket jump, and it's fine. When you got the red armor, again, it's 200 armor, even if you're at 0. 200 reds. The red looks good, but also it's 75 protection. So it doesn't just look good, it is the best armor you can pick up. Nicolo using that high ground there, using those rockets. Again, the great thing about the high ground is you can get some rockets in there. If you get some damage in, you can drop down onto lower level and try to close down the fight. But it's like Steve's going to get caught off guard there. Nicolo just running on the upper level, wanting to get that second red armor. Might take him a few rocket jumps to get there, so he needs some space, and he's trying to clear that space out as Steve is going to make things a little bit more difficult, but Nicolo likes this fight, and you can see why. Able to take it down with the lightning gun there, as he's then going to be able to stack back up. And a great start from Nicolo, really showing that he has that experience. Of course, he was here playing last year, and so he knows a thing or two about how this goes. Again, as mentioned as well, last year Tim Willis was here, obviously of id Software, had a pretty big part in making the Quake games, and who better to practice against? Who better to mentor you? And also, that said, Nicolo has Sturmy, who is a professional gamer from Quake, also mentoring him as well. So we're starting to see all the mentorship, all the hours of practice in the past, really giving him a bit of an edge. But still, he's not got a massive lead here, only 2 kills. But the encouraging thing here is we're seeing Nicolo taking his time, trying to measure every situation, and that's what it comes down to. Making sure that he can't get caught off guard, making sure that if he has the lead, Steve has to attack into him, so he's got more of a defensible position, and he can make sure he can disengage and keep control of the fight as he needs to. Again, finding another good rocket there. Nicolo just whittling down his opponents, rocket by rocket, lightning gun, cell by lightning gun, cell. 3-0. Not much time on the clock now for Steve to get back into this. It's quite a big lead, but, well, I guess that's one way to get yourself back into the running. Nicolo's actually going to suicide there, so maybe he should have practiced the rocket jumps a little bit more before coming onto the live matches here today. Now, let's check out Steve's point of view here, see if we can get an eye on exactly what he's trying to do to get back into the action. Right now, Steve just roaming around the map, trying to find his opponent. Again, we can see Nicolo pretty aware of these fights. I'm not being biased. I know he's my boss and everything. I'm definitely trying to not be biased here. But Nicolo's doing a pretty good job at controlling the fights. And that's pretty much what this comes down to. Once again, Nicolo spots a moment to go in for the engagement. Steve will end up going down. We can switch back to Nicolo's position. We can see him running the top map there. Good rocket connection. Falls back and away. A direct rocket does 110 damage. You hit it direct. But the splash damage is pretty huge. And just the act of bouncing your opponent around with the splash damage is pretty effective in the middle of a fight as well, to really throw them off, really impact their dodging and put yourself in a better position to get that frag in the end. See again, Nicolo just working the upper positions. Steve will take the fight, but you can see Nicolo's by the stairs here. If he wants, he can back away, making it really hard for Steve to close the distance, and he gets stuck in the jump pad, and Steve will go down to his own rocket, down to -1. A bit of Quake trivia. The QuakeWorld scene, the multiplayer QuakeWorld scene, was filled with many Swedish players, and when you actually die in this game or get a kill in this game, in the original Quakes, it would actually print messages in the console. It's messages such as, if you kill yourself with a rocket launcher, the message was, "This player is bored by life." And the Scandinavian community, but perhaps not having the best grasp on English at the time, decided to actually call it, or nickname it, if you kill yourself with a rocket, as boring. So we just saw Steve Bore. So there you go. Bit of Quake old school trivia for you. Well, Nicolo still needs some more practice here with the rocket jumps, but he has some time. He has some time. Let's see if he can get it this time. 3rd time's a charm. Come on, Nick. Let's see. Oh, barely misses it again. 4th time? No. Okay, now he's committed. Now he's committed. Unless he has to keep going until he dies. Okay, this one, he needs to get it this time. Oh, no. Okay, bit awkward, but still, where is Steve? Nowhere to be seen. So right now, Nicolo is just getting these rocket jump attempts for gratis, and eventually he's going to make it work. I feel like that deserves a round of applause. I think that's like the 5th or 6th time there. There we go. All right. Love to see rocket jumps. I think it's something that is coming back into fashion, having a lot of movement options in our video games, in our competitive video games. Movement options are just so fun to play around with. So in Quake, of course, by accident, we have bunny hopping from Quake 1. It was a complete accident from what I understand. Rocket jumping as well. I can't imagine it was necessarily intended. It may very well have been intended, but those were the two very first sort of movement options we began to see coming into gameplay over 20 years ago. And here we are in 2018, still paying tribute. Nicolo once again able to do a very good job here, just keeping things cool, very calm and collected. Here's Nicolo at the moment. Just running that lead, not doing anything too drastic, not being a very aggressive player. And that's something we're going to be looking at in this tournament, is we'll see players with different styles. And by style, I mean they'll have different decision-making, different choices, like how quick do they want the action to be. I mentioned Sean Dunn earlier. One thing I remembered about Sean Dunn is that he had great rockets, really, really good rockets, and a very fast-paced play style. I believe as well we saw lots of rocket jumps from him as well. So Nicolo, a slower player, but we can see that more methodical play style is really paying off for him. 2 minutes to go, and Nicolo still protecting his lead. See him just dancing around here. And again, we see Nicolo gravitating back towards the top area of the map. Whoa, okay. All right, there it is. First time, gets the rocket jump. That is awesome. 200, 200, stacked. As stacked as you could possibly be. Well, actually, that's not true. You can actually go to a 250 health stack, but never mind. It's close. It's close. It counts. So Nicolo, once again, able to just back away from the fight that Steve was trying to force there. Showing his knowledge of the map. Back onto the high ground again. And look how difficult it is for Steve to approach here. He does actually manage to find a way through a blind spot there of Nicolo, but Nicolo's still calm as ever, collecting the frag with some lightning gun work. Even though that did surprise him, he was pretty calm under the pressure. Once again, Steve tries to make his way across to another fight, but it's all he can do to get off -1. Steve with 0, but it's Nicolo with a very dominant victory. 6 frags for him. He'll move forward here at the Quake tournament. Wow, very impressive stuff. He was suggesting in the interview that he was rusty, he hadn't practiced, but we saw some good aim there. We saw good knowledge of how to play the map, and I think that's going to carry him pretty far in the tournament. Right, are we ready for an interview with Nick?
Yeah, I'm actually not quite done scolding him yet.
Oh, okay.
I feel like, Nicholas, you got a lot of time in this game. I was just talking to Steve over there before the match. He was terrified. He was not having high expectations for his play, and you had to put him in his place. Tell me about your rough gameplay style.
I think you saw that I'm not that good, actually.
Yeah, well, okay, you're not that good at rocket jumping. So tell me what you were trying to do there, because we spent a lot of the match watching you try and rocket jump up onto that platform. What was the problem?
I think I saw that once, and I always wanted to repeat it, but I'm not that good at it, as you saw.
Well, I noticed that aside from the rocket jumping, you are a pretty excellent player, and this happens to run in the blood of Faceit. So tell me a little bit about the relationship between Faceit and Quake.
So, we started very early on with Quake, and it's a bit one of the first esports titles that we started looking at and working with. And we have a co-founder that used to be a pro player at Quake, and probably that's why I know how to rocket jump, more or less.
Well, I look forward to watching you move forward in this tournament, because now you have cleared this spot in the bracket. And speaking of brackets, why don't we throw it back over to Dan. Dan, where are we at?
Right, so it's time for some magic, I think. It's time for some magic. Of course, we have Randy Pitchford and Kieran Fitzpatrick. And Randy's always been quite the competitor, and he gets very into it as well. Very passionate player. We may hear some cursing across from the room from him. I'm expecting big things from Randy. Very good last year. Made a run all the way to the finals. The previous year, I believe he went to the semi-finals as well. So much like Nicolo, we have a seasoned professional here. But Kieran, of course, able to do a very good job in our first qualifier there in free-for-all. And free-for-all is very chaotic. We had loads of crazy action, 4 players in a very, very small map, which is even small for 2 players. But now Rachel, we start to move into a slower paced game, just as we saw from Nicolo. And Nicolo showed us, if you have experience already, if you understand how to run the map, as he did, that can give you a big edge. So Randy surely should be very well positioned for this victory.
Yeah, I'm very excited that we've got Randy back in the event. He's a treasure that comes every year to compete in this Quake tournament. Dan, as someone that has been a part of this enduring 3-year tradition now at DICE, can you give me a little retrospective on how Randy has performed?
Well, I mean, this is the thing with Randy. Very passionate guy. Actually, he's usually the most colorful person in the room. Usually he brings the most incredible shirts. And I'm always very impressed with not only how well he dresses, but also how well he plays on the server, because maybe there's a link there. I hope there isn't, because we're not seeing quite the colors we saw last year. And I'm wondering about that, Rachel. What happened there? Maybe you can find out for us.
We do have to discuss this. Now, Randy, I know you're getting in the game here, you're getting a feel, but I hope it don't mind that I'm interrupting you for a minute. I noticed that you're wearing, once again, and Dan, maybe it's that you're so far away, because up close, this shirt is beautifully intricate. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're wearing today, Randy?
My wardrobe is provided by Robert Graham.
It's a beautiful choice here. I love the selection on the cuffs. If you could give us a little turn, we've got the detail on the collar. Looking fantastic. Now, what is so important about being the best dressed competitor at our tournament?
You know, it's my wife dresses me. I can claim no credit. If it wasn't for her, this would be a video game T-shirt and shorts. So she takes care of business.
Well, she's a talented lady. I was wondering if it had something to do with the art of illusion and perhaps the spell you're casting over your fellow competitors here. Your background in magic, is that perhaps going to help at all?
You know, it's convenient when you're a magician to have magician wardrobe, so I'm always ready to go. But I don't think it's going to play a factor here.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to seeing you compete in this tournament. You've done this a couple times now. What did you learn in your previous runs through this tournament that you're going to exercise here today?
What I learned last year is don't go to the finals to play against Tim Willits on the map he designed.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. Hopefully, that's not going to be how it plays out this week. We did not invite Tim back, but we do have you, so I'm looking forward to seeing how you do in this tournament. Now, Dan, we have a competitor that qualified to get here. How's Kieran feeling about this competition?
Yeah, Kieran, I mean, you played very well. I was very surprised. I mean, you looked like a duck in water. What was going on there?
You know, it's those reflexes you just kind of remember from playing back in college, Quake 3 Arena, and it just comes right back to you.
That's really good to hear. I mean, as we sort of built up a bit, you know, we have a veteran sitting across from you here. Randy, he's prepared with one of his shirts. Indeed, I was a bit too far away. Couldn't quite see how wonderful it was. But, I mean, does that intimidate you at all? Do you feel like it's just all for show?
I've been advised to lose, but by a close margin.
All right, well, fair enough. I think that's probably it. Then, unless you want to add anything else before we go to the game.
Dan, get out of there. You can't expose when they throw the game.
All right, okay.
That's not something we talk about here. I believe in you, Kieran. I know you can win. Don't you dare throw this. Now, Dan, this is a heck of a matchup here. Do you think you're ready?
I'm very excited to see Randy again. This guy is such a competitor. He's so passionate. Again, I'm really hoping we see some of the swearing we saw last time. He really just let loose. And I mean, his opponent, we saw Kieran do an amazing job earlier. So it's getting kind of spicy now, Rachel.
All right, we'll kick it off, Dan. Let's watch this match.
All right, the spice begins. Okay, so Randy already kicking things off with just trading frags there. A little bit unlucky for Kieran. Kieran earned that first frag, but then Randy spawned straight in front of him, able to trade out really quickly. And again, the interesting thing with this is that because the players spawn with full stacks, full health, full armor, it all depends on how efficient you can fight. So you'll do a bunch of damage, maybe you'll get the kill, but if you're very, very weak after you get that kill, you're a very easy refrag, and your opponent can sort of equalize the situation very quickly. So you've got to try to find a slow lead on damage, and grind your opponent away, and that's what we start to see with some of these more experienced players to the competition. We're on Randy still at the moment, and he is currently behind Kieran. Actually, let's just take Kieran's perspective here. A newcomer, relative newcomer. And again, a surprise performance there in the qualifiers. I'm pretty excited to see what he's got to bring. We saw good lightning work from him. He's already trying to close the distance here with those rockets as well. Taking control around the red armor area. And I have to say that QuakeWorld, Quake 1, the rocket jumping mechanic is a bit harder than the other Quakes, Quake 3 in particular, which Kieran said he was more familiar with. I think many of us have played Quake 3, and maybe some of us would have missed the game from '96, but Kieran does seem to be taking quite well to it. You can see here he's on a pretty good stack at the moment. If we quickly check on Randy, Randy's only on a green armor at the moment, so despite being a frag ahead, and no, in fact, sorry, my mistake. Kieran is a frag ahead and has a better stack right now. The green armor has 25% protection. Really important Randy can get onto that red armor. I don't know if he made the jump. I don't think he did. No, he couldn't have. He died in one rocket there. And now the follow-up damage coming in from Kieran, trying to press the issue off the spawn. Might have been a mistake here. We'll have to see if that comes back to haunt him. Going straight for the damage there again. You want to get that clean damage, but Kieran taking some dirty fights at the moment. Randy trying to back away from this one. Doesn't seem to like it. Kieran able to get that yellow armor, 50% protection, 150 points of armor if you pick it up. And to see whether or not he can keep the damage going. He's got the red armor there as a reward as well. If Kieran can get rid of Randy, or just damage him enough that he doesn't want to take this fight, he gets a free red armor. That's pretty big because after the red, he can start pushing the issue and close down the fight. Right now, Randy needs to play defense. So switch over to Randy. We can see he's on the green at the moment. He would really, really love a red or a yellow armor, but of course we saw that the red was just taken away. So Randy's doing a smart thing here. He's got position on the top of the map. This allows him to avoid fights because he'll hear his opponent coming. He should be able to hear his opponent coming, and also he should be able to escape with more options. There's the red though, but can Randy make the jump? This is a really big moment here for Randy. If he can get the jump, oh, he's going to commit to it. Oh God, he can't quite make it happen. He's got no health left. He gambled it all for the rocket jump, but unable to do it in the end. That costs him gravely, and that puts Kieran ahead. Kieran off the spawn, doing so much damage to Randy. Kieran does die, but as we switch perspective now to Kieran, he knows he left Randy really low on health and armor there. If he pursues for the next fight, it should be easy for him, and he'll be able to get 2 frags in advantage. That's what Kieran is playing for right now. Spots Randy. Randy has no time to pick up anything. Kieran just needs to press the issue. Here he goes, straight for the teleporter. Following up, Kieran with some good rocket placement, taking down Randy. Now as we check the score, indeed, Kieran 5 and Randy on 3. Pretty nice direct rocket there from Randy, but he needs to do some more here. You can see he's trying to play defense, but Kieran pushing him away from that red armor. This is really good play here from Kieran. Kieran's actually in a brilliant position to go back to the red and pick it up, then take the fight. If he tries to fight now, he's at risk of dying, and Randy switched places with him. Randy's in a good position now to take the red. So this is a bit of a steal. This red armor should have been Kieran's. Ooh, just barely able to get it there. Randy picks up the red. And as he now moves forwards, he might be able to remedy the situation, remedy this big deficit that he's staring down at the moment. Randy has to take it easy though. Some good defensive rockets from his opponent. Randy still biding his time here. He's not really in a spot where he wants to take a fight, but now he is. A fresh red armor, and he's good to go with that. Looking for the next engagement now, trying to stalk on the upper level. Here's the movement of Kieran there. Kieran, though, through the telly, going to be jumping, diving straight on top of Randy here, pushing the issue. Randy trying to play the defense, and he is able to just barely escape it, but very, very low. Oh my God, that's a close call. Very fortunate for Randy that Kieran did not see him there. That could have been an easy kill for Kieran, but Randy able to stay alive. He has to keep himself alive here. I thought he was looking good. He had the red armor, everything going for him, but again, it just comes down to the damage, and Kieran showing exactly why he was able to win the free-for-all just earlier. Really good fighting abilities so far from Kieran. Let's go back to him as he looks to pursue the frag, finds Randy, and Randy will kill himself with the rockets. That's not a good look for Randy. 5 frags for Kieran on the scoreboard, 2 for Randy now. Kieran, after that frag, he was very low, but he's starting to stack back up, starting to remedy, to fix all the damage that was done by Randy's rockets. Now Kieran in a good position here, waiting around the red armor, able to get himself onto another one. Really good work there from Kieran. I'm pretty impressed by Kieran, okay? He's the newcomer. This guy shouldn't be looking so good at the moment, but he's making some great decisions. Definitely taking a lot away from watching his opponents play just previous. Kieran working the middle ground now, collecting the yellow armor. Had a pretty good fight there. Good exchange of damage, fell back onto the yellow. Randy now with 3 minutes or so to get himself back into winning ways. It's looking really difficult right now. Kieran quite low on health and armor. Able to find a backstab here on Randy, but perhaps that was not the fight he was after. Randy gets himself a pretty clean engagement there, but there's lots more work to do. So we switch over to Randy now. Following Randy, Pitchford on your screens. Full stack, full health, full armor. Full protection from that red. But it's Kieran here pursuing the fight. Kieran, if he really wanted to, could play very, very passively with his lead, force Randy to attack him. But instead, Kieran wants to keep the action fast-paced, keeps the pressure on Randy, which is always an effective strategy when you're ahead. Keep your opponent pressured, don't allow them to feel comfortable in making that comeback. Another fight here. Kieran forcing the issue once again. Randy, though, looking very strong. Not taking much damage, finishes it off with some rockets. Kieran biting off more than he can chew, but actually pinning Randy against the wall with the lightning gun. It does so much damage, so much knockback as Kieran goes in for the final blows. Randy will take himself down there. Still 2 frags the difference. 2 minutes to go as well. And if we assess the situation after the fight, we see that Kieran, from his perspective, he has no armor. He has to get armor before he goes for a fight here. The yellow's there for him. But the problem is that Randy will be freshly spawned. He has a full health situation, a full armor situation as well. And Randy's been pretty good at playing some of the defensive situations. Kieran has to be careful with his lead at the moment. He still has a lead, but if you watch Kieran and you didn't look at the scoreboard, you might actually think that Kieran's behind right now because he's an animal going for these fights consistently in spots where maybe he should be taking it a bit slower, trying to protect his lead. But Randy, he's being let back in this one. Around a minute and a half left, and Randy may have a chance here, taking another fight. Randy knows he has to press the issue onto Kieran, who's finally playing defensively. And as we switch back to Randy, looking for him to try to find a way back in. He just needs one frag. Could catch his opponent here. Kieran jumps very effectively to the red armor. Doesn't mess the rocket jump up. Very important. A minute to go. And Randy is looking for that engagement. But that green armor he has, it looks like a lot, but it really just melts so quickly. It's paper thin. Oh, in fact, 10 seconds to go. Randy needs to get himself onto the frag. Has no armor. Needs a perfect fight. Has to close the distance. Can't find his opponent in time. It's Kieran taking down Randy Pitchford, just barely making his way forwards through to the next stage in the playoff bracket. Really well fought by Kieran. I almost thought he's going to throw it away there, playing a bit over-aggressive with that lead, but eventually did find a way to close it down, Rachel.
You said it, man. That was a very impressive match. I like that a lot. I really was expecting Randy to take it there. He had the confidence, he had the look, he had the history. Kieran, you came out of nowhere, man. So let me dig a little bit into the history here of what looks to be a future professional gamer. Where did this all come from?
I think I played Halo 1 once in college. I like Quake 3 Arena a lot. I grew up playing that and CS 1.6 and all that fun stuff. And but not a lot of recent first-person shooter games. You kind of just get busy with work and other things, but this is just so much fun.
I'm glad you found the time to polish off those skills. And there's something especially intense, Dan, in my opinion, about 1v1. Really, like, your hands start shaking, your heart starts pounding. What was that like to play on a stage like this against one other person?
You just kind of get tunnel vision. At the end there, I was definitely running scared, though, because it could have been equalized very quickly.
We saw a lot of smart plays there. You were really making sure you had your armor at all times, that you kept that health up. I mean, is there a future in professional gaming for you, perhaps? Do you want to maybe put the company aside and go pro?
I think the twitch reflexes are not what they used to be. If you put a railgun in there, I'm toast, so.
All right, man. Well, I can't wait to see you move on and play in the tournament. Congratulations on yet another victory. You are this much closer to getting some money to your charity of choice. You can go rejoin your friends and comrades on the couches. We'll come back to you soon. Dan, let's take a quick look at the bracket, find out what's coming up next here.
Yeah, so we have Sean Dunn versus Andrew Schultz. And we just saw Andrew, much like Kieran, was a surprise, a very big surprise in our free-for-all little qualifier there, able to beat out a field of 4 players to make his way into the playoff bracket, which is pretty impressive, but he's going to be up against Sean Dunn. And of course, I already mentioned that Sean is quite a monster. He's got a lot of raw skill to bring to bear, and that's what we saw from Andrew as well. That is why Kieran won the free-for-all bracket. That's why Andrew won. It's all about that chaotic action. So I'm expecting this to be a pretty close one, Rachel.
You know, it might be a close one. Or it might be that our prodigy runs away with the game once again because he has eliminated Space Pirate. Space Pirate was the one giving Andrew a run for his money here. Now, Sean is a previous winner. Does that tilt you at all, Andrew? Are you afraid?
No, in fact, Sean, I would like to shake your hand right now.
Okay, we got a handshake coming in here, so I'm going to clear the way. Make sure you do it in the light so the people can see you. That's not going to happen. Stage direction. Wow, I love that show of solidarity, and I love the clapping out in the crowd in support. That's the kind of friendship we want to see here on the stage. Do you guys know each other? Have you guys met before?
Never.
Wow, so that was spontaneous brotherhood we just saw.
We're just having fun. It's Quake. I love it.
All right, that's a great answer. That's what I love to hear. We're talking about video games. It's about fun, and it's about a good cause. Now, Dan, you got Sean over there. Get some perspective for me from a previous winner.
All right, Sean, it's your time once again. You're back. I think the first year you came in as a stand-in, and you crushed it. You won. That was a big surprise. But now, years on, you're again here to compete. You didn't win last year. Tim Willis stole away the trophy. We're going to see a different result.
He cheated, you mean? Because
elaborate.
Yeah, he built the map and asked the organizers to change it. Yes. So I kneecapped Tim last week, and so now he has to stay home.
Wow. Okay, so I hope that your opponent didn't hear that, because that might be a bit intimidating, going around kneecapping people. But you seem to really take very well to this game. You have a lot of history with Quake. And for people that don't know you, let's get a bit of an introduction going for yourself.
So I've been in the industry for about 25 years, and I actually got my first job at Activision by playing Quake 1 in the Quake Annihilation tournament at E3 for CarMax Ferrari. So I didn't quite make it there, but I did get my first industry job, so it was awesome.
So it must, I mean, that was so many years ago, what, 98 or something like that? So
you don't have to remind me of how long ago that was. Yes, I am old. I hurt my hip going into here. That tells you how old I am.
Fantastic. Well, you sound very confident. I mean, you're a veteran, that is for sure. With Tim Willis no longer in the competition, it seems like you should be a shoo-in for the victory, no?
I don't know. That Kieran looks pretty good. He dispatched Randy pretty easily, and Randy beat me last year, so I just want to get out of this round.
Okay, so as a prediction, you think it'll be close?
I think it'll be close, yes. I think we have a good set of competitors this year.
All right, well, thank you very much, Sean. I'm really looking forward to seeing you once again. And looks like I think it's time to get the match started, Rachel.
Yeah, it is, Dan. I'm over here just checking out this lovely computer you have to do the observing. But this year, it seems, is the year of the, I don't want to call them newbies, because they've clearly been playing this game for quite some time, but of newcomers.
That's actually one of the cool things is that, I mean, we have this annually. So after the first year, of course, during the first year, no one had really expected that they could be called up to play Quake, but now people know this is a returning thing. We get people who are definitely practicing, like when they come into the qualifiers. We saw people who are a bit too familiar, I feel like. But I mean, that's what we love about esports, right? It's competitive.
Oh yes, and I cannot wait to see how all this aggression plays out in this next match. So Dan, take it away.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Yes, I'm so looking forward to seeing Sean back in action once again. Third year running for Sean, a title winner in year one. And the first thing you'll notice as we are on his perspective is that he's twitching all over the place. So not exactly sure what that's about, but it's just his style perhaps. Very, very twitchy, but let's see if it's going to be effective. He does have a pretty good level of precision, I would say, and his rockets tend to be pretty good. We saw a lot of really nice rocket work previously, some rocket jumps as well. We saw him warming up with those, and already we see a 1-1 situation. Still going for the fight though. Andrew jumping back in here and fancies himself, and quite rightly so, gets the frag with a lightning gun. Let's switch to Andrew, see what he's got to bring to bear on Airwalk here against the veteran that is Sean Dunn. Right. Andrew, a man who clearly is quite passionate about Doom and music. And it's going to be interesting to see whether he'll be making music with Sean as his plaything here on Airwalk, as he's going to get taken down eventually. Again, when you win these fights, you're always going to be taking some amount of damage. So then you go into the next fight a little bit damaged, and that's going to make life a little bit harder for you. So it's all about just that consistent additional bits of damage that you get here and there, getting that first rocket before the fight starts. When your opponent does frag you, making sure you maximize the amount of pain that they have to go through to get that frag. That's where the difference is really made. You can see here right now, things calm down a little bit. Ooh, nice backstab coming in from Andrew. Able to disorient his opponent there, coming out the teleporter, appearing behind Sean, getting some free damage. That's what we want to see here from these two players. Now Andrew is in the lead with a frag, and he needs all the free damage he can get to stay there. Finds Sean once again. A couple cells of damage connected there. That's about 60 damage for Andrew onto Sean. Sean will try to evade, but again, more licks of damage by the lightning gun of Andrew as he keeps whittling Sean down, point of health by point of health until there is none remaining. Another frag there for Andrew. He really looks good at the moment. Sean needs to step up his game to get back into this. Andrew here, having to play slow. He understands clearly that the dynamics at play, you have to really be aware of your stack to make sure you're in a position where you don't fight too aggressively. If you have a very poor stack, if you know that you have less health and armor than your opponent, you want to play slowly there. And Andrew, in trying to play slow and trying to sneak around, Sean managed to catch him off guard there. Finishes off the... Oh no, that's so bad for Sean. Andrew there with the telefrag, and that is insane because Sean died right off the spawn essentially. He had a full stack and he instantly died because that's how telefrags work. If someone's standing on the exit and you enter, they will get obliterated. Doesn't matter how healthy they are. And that's essentially so much free damage, a free kill for Andrew. But Sean will be trying to fight back. Does pull a frag together here as Andrew will be faced with Sean as he exits the teleporter in the mid-map position. Andrew looking to seek refuge by the red armor though. Let's check out his opponent. Back to Sean. Sean a little bit weaker. Good rocket though. Good second one. Some extra splash damage on the third, and he's got Andrew on the run here. He tries to take him down, following with the rockets, the gun that started the engagement. He wants to finish it with the rockets as well. Not pulling out the lightning gun, and that is definitely Sean's stuff right there. We saw that last year and the previous one. He typically favors the rockets. And again, many of you have played Quake. You learn that you have to shoot rockets at the ground. You shoot rockets at the ground, you get the splash damage, and you don't. You avoid the situation where you shoot a rocket and it just flies past your opponent. So you always do some damage. Sean doesn't seem to care. He goes for the direct rockets every time. And it sometimes works for him, and sometimes it doesn't. But right now, we can check the situation. He's still a frag behind. He just spawned. He's going for that red armor, so he'll be very healthy. As we switch to Andrew to check his position. Andrew here, not looking amazing on the armor and health. Slightly less than Sean. So Andrew, going into this next fight, needs to get the opening damage, and he does exactly that. That's about 150 damage done right there. Andrew putting himself into the lead. Sean going for the green. Gets taken down there by his own rocket. That's absolutely what Sean does not want to see. And maybe Rachel was right after all. This seems to be a tournament about the newcomers so far, as Sean is having quite a struggle. Again, a player that often threatens a finals run. And Sean with a great defensive rocket there. Pixel perfect onto his opponent. Andrew absolutely nailed there. Was not expecting to take that damage, and he will fall because of it. But still, he is ahead. But there it is. Sean able to find himself a telefrag of his own, and that will put Andrew back in a pretty contested position. They're all tied up, 6 frags apiece. Andrew, though, let's check the armors, although we don't have time to do so. Still on Andrew here as he wins the fight just barely against Sean. Sean knew Andrew was a little bit low, tried to make it work, but a very good defense from Andrew in the end. Switching over to Sean. He wants to try to steal away the red armor before he goes for the fight. Right now, Sean needs to make sure that Andrew cannot stack back up and get himself in a good position to take a fight. And Sean is losing all of his own health and armor here in the efforts to get the red. He's decided to abandon the red armor pickup, and he's going for the fight instead. And he's in a more of a weakened state. Andrew's been picking up the yellows. Andrew actually could use this situation to get more ahead. Sean has to be very careful. There's no rush just yet. Just under 3 minutes left. Andrew there, using the lightning gun in the middle of the map. That's a very good position for it. Sean, though, in Sean fashion, picking up great rockets. And that will somehow salvage the situation, but he's left very low. He must get this next red armor. Let's see if he can do it. Right now, Andrew is around, but looks like Sean is not going to go for the red after all. Wants to fight, and it may be a mistake here. We'll have to see. Stalking Andrew. Andrew unawares of his position as Sean goes in for the chase. He's being baited in by Andrew now. Got to be careful. Andrew in a great position to do damage. He turns around, picks the fight. Sean no longer has the element of surprise. and it could end up going very poorly for him. Andrew resets the fight. Sean still wants to pursue, though, as Andrew comes through the teleporter. Sean with great rockets once again. No lightning connecting from Andrew here. Andrew repositioning towards the red side of the map. No, he comes back again and somehow catches Sean mid-fight with that lightning gun, finds the perfect moment. Sean misses a rocket and it's all over. That lightning gun does so much damage. And if we go back to Sean's opponent, Andrew here, he takes the fight once more. He has the lead at the moment, keeps the damage on, keeps the pressure on, looking to finish off Sean. He won't be able to do it, but don't be fooled. Right now, Sean, Andrew, despite dying, he does so much damage there. If he is able to get another engagement soon before Sean can stack back up, he's in a brilliant position to keep himself in the lead. Or rather, to create the lead. He's actually still tied, and here it is. Looking for the next fight against Sean. Sean has to get good defensive rockets. Trying to control the fight, trying to keep Andrew at arm's length. But it's looking rather difficult from this point. 1 minute left, both players tied up. Let's check in on Sean's position. Right now we can see Andrew needs some additional armor. Actually, not switching over just yet. Want to wait for a lull in the action. Sean falling back onto the red armor position. I'm not sure that he picked it up, actually. Good rocket connected there. A couple thrown into Andrew. Both players very weak at this point, I believe. Indeed, both players very weak. We switch to Sean. 30 seconds left. This next fight could decide it. Sean gets the kill. We may go into overtime here, unless Sean can recover. Sean needs to find a way to keep Andrew away. Sean done. He had a bad start. It looked like it was going Andrew's way. But he's found a way back in this, but his lead is fragile. Very, very fragile. Andrew, a much better stack, 10 seconds. Andrew must find the fight. Oh, Sean nails that rocket jump. That was the perfect timing for it. Able to use the rockets to get Andrew out of the picture here. Sean using the teleporters, and he barely escapes in time. Sean, with a surprise victory after the way that started, is able to progress in this tournament, moving forwards onto the semifinals, taking down Andrew.
Talk about a surprise victory. I was halfway up Kieran's stairs. I'm sorry, Sean. Or Andrew's stairs. I never should have doubted you. Andrew, I want to shout out. Amazing job. Really good play, but you can't dispute a champion. Come on, we're gonna go to the center of the stage. We're gonna talk about this victory, Sean. I like that you played with him a little bit there. You let him think that he was winning. You let him think that this was a possibility for him. And then you really you sucked the life out of him. So do you enjoy toying with your victims?
No, I pretty much thought I lost that game. So when it ended, I thought I lost and was quite surprised that I won.
You pulled out some impressive gameplay there. I mean, you didn't give up for 1 second. How do you play like that?
Terror. So yes, if I lost in the first round, my son would disown me. So I pretty much had to step up my game and do a better job.
I heard that your son is your practice partner. You guys train together. What's the training regimen like?
Well, originally he refused to play because it was some slow old man game. That was the exact term that he used. And then once he actually played it, he was amazed at how fast it was and instantly became a Quake fan. So converting new players every day.
Converting new players to QuakeWorld? You're doing a service. I don't know if it's a great one, but you're doing a service. So does he get his friends into it now? Is this like a LAN party situation you got going on at the house?
I don't know. It's pretty hard to pull his friends away from Overwatch, but we'll give it a try.
I feel you on that one. Well, you did an incredible job here today. You are moving on into our top 4. Anyone that you're maybe at all concerned about?
I really want to play Min, so Min do well this game because I need another easy victory.
All right. Woo! Well, thank you, Sean. Congratulations on your victory over there. Congratulations to your opponent, Andrew. You did a fantastic job in this tournament. Now, once again, Dan, it's time for the bracket conversation.
Really? So, right, this gets very interesting. One of your good old friends, Rachel, a man who is very renowned, got Fwiz, of course, and who's going to be a newcomer, and we have Min Kim. So Min Kim has been around for a while. He's a bit of a veteran. I want to go straight over for a bit of an interview here, Min Kim. So I always feel like you play very methodically, and you always seem prepared. You seem like a very cool, calm, calculated kind of, the way that you conduct yourself. I'm always inspired with confidence in your play. Do you feel confident? That was actually, I oversold you a bit, but sorry about that.
No, I don't feel confident at all. I think I'm really happy they invite me back every year because I think I'm the tournament fodder. So I'm good with my role. I know my place.
Do you think your experience is going to help you out here? Because, of course, as you say, you've been coming back. You've done this a few times before.
Yeah, no, I think it's kind of messed up because Ryan's like an ex-pro player, right? That's kind of not nice.
I think it's a console game. Does it really count?
No, it's kind of cousins, yeah.
All right, so of course, we have this every year, and one of the prizes is being able to donate some money to the charity of your choice. Have you given any thought of who you would like to donate to if you are able to win?
Yeah, that's amazing that we're doing that. I really like this charity called Charity Water. So they bring clean water to developing countries, and I believe in that. So if I won, which I won't, that's where it would go. But I could influence other people's charity choices like Ryan's.
Awesome. And one thing I want to emphasize again, because this is kind of a crazy concept, bringing back a game that's so incredibly old, so old that I don't really want to speak of it because most of us, it was in our lifetime, so I don't want to remind everyone how old they are. But what have you learned from coming back and doing, playing competitively each year? Is there any tips or tricks, things that you picked up that really helped you when you were new doing this?
I feel like every year I come back, the game gets faster, which probably means I'm getting older and slower. That's what I've found, anyway.
All right, well, thank you very much, Min Kim. We'll see if your veteran status does you any favors. Now to speak to Fwiz.
It's a thing that guys do when they sit down to play a video game. They line up all their excuses of why they might lose before they get into any sort of confidence conversation. Min, I know you're a great player. I know this is going to be a hell of a match. And Fwiz, I know you are quite the competitor to go up against him. You've got your competition juice here on the desk. That's right. It's gonna loosen you up. Do you play better with a drink?
I absolutely do. I want to shout out my sponsor, Red Bull, for making sure that I stay energized during this game. Thank you, Red Bull, for all that you do.
Now, that's a true pro player there, ladies and gentlemen. Always shouting out the sponsors. Min touched on your pro career. I know you as one of the old men of Optic, one of the most storied professional gamers in the space. Fwiz, are you going to win this match?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think the last time I played this game, I was like 10 years old. So, but I also want to be careful because you just did that whole about men making excuses. So I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to whoop his ass, and we should handle this quite easily.
That's the confidence I like to hear. Now, one more question for you, Ryan. Should you win, should you go on to the finals, should you defeat everyone in this tournament and be the victor, what charity would you like to send that money to?
It's very easy for me. There's a company called Gamers Outreach. They put gaming carts in pediatric hospitals, and so I would like the money to go towards that.
That is a wonderful cause and a popular one here today. So good luck to you, Fwiz. Good luck to your opponent, Min. And Dan, I'm going to hand this back over to you.
Yeah, Rachel, I just don't know exactly what to expect, as always, but that's part of the joy of doing this. I think, Min Kim sort of undersold himself. I mean, maybe I oversold him, but I think he undersold himself a bit. We can already see from some of our vets, as we saw Sean Dunn make the comeback just earlier, that there's a lot to be said for having done this, having a year or two under your belt of playing this competition. So, Fwiz being the newcomer, his ex-professional status aside, we'll see if he can hang with one of the vets here. So we're going to kick things off here, and of course, Stove will be Min Kim, and Ryan is going to be Fwiz, as you'll see it on the screen, following and so on. So we'll be off on Min Kim's perspective. Again, I do remember him being one of the more methodical players. So looking forward to seeing that come into play. Sean, of course, just previously, we saw a lot of aggression from Sean. Maybe, a year has passed. Maybe that's a year of evolution for Min Kim's playstyle. We'll have to see if he's going to kick things off up a notch. She did say that everything looked faster than before, so don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign, but already we'll start to see the rockets flying between the players. Ryan trying to bear down upon Min Kim here, using the rockets, trying to push him away from the red armor. Is successful. Health is pretty low there. The yellow armor's collected. Ooh, Ryan dying off screen to rockets. Can only be a failed rocket jump. I know a lot of people will be... That'll be fun to see for a lot of people. Let's see if Fwiz can improve that as time goes on. He's only got about 8 minutes. He will be able to chase down Min Kim eventually, though. Min Kim was left fairly low after their previous engagement, and so things will be tied up 0-0. If we go over to Ryan to Fwiz, he is actually in not the best spot here. Doesn't really want to take a fight. His armor situation, health situation is appalling, and he will be manhandled by Min Kim's rockets. Min Kim taking the lead. We'll stay on Fwiz for a moment longer, though, see if he can do anything to get himself back into the running. Gotta love these old jump sounds of Quake. Nothing quite like it. Right, Fwiz trying to close the distance here. Will spot his opponent, Minkim, playing very defensively around where this is where the quad actually would spawn if we had this set to a team mode. A quad damage is pretty impressive to imagine on a map as small as this, but we'll see that Ryan's able to eventually pull the frag out of the bag there as Minkim was just trying to juke and jive around the corridor. It's like, once again though, Fwiz will keep the action straight to his opponent. Sending those rockets Minkim's way. A few good connections there. We don't see much damage traded by Minkim. Fwiz is actually starting to create some kind of a lead with this. Although now he has to once again consider, okay, fresh off the spawn, his opponent will be stronger. So now he's looking for some good bits of damage from afar, hopefully. A red armor picker would be great, but he's just going to pile straight into Minkim. See if that's going to work out for him. Ooh, that is not going to work out too well for him. Ryan can't really get any damage out of that one. Keep switching between Ryan and Fwiz. They will be synonymous after this broadcast. Ryan moving forwards again with the rockets, pushing forwards. Fighting on the yellow armor is actually really smart, because of course, as you take damage, you can immediately have a bigger stack again within the fight as you pick the yellow armor up as it's waiting there for you. In QuakeWorld, you can't actually pick armors up if you have enough armor of a tier that is above the armor that you want to pick up. So you can run over the yellow armor if you already have a red armor, for instance. And here it is. We saw off-screen Ryan failing this jump previously. Let's see if he can pick it up. And it looks like he won't be able to. He's going to be making an astronaut of his opponent, though, sending Minkim flying with the rockets. Pressing the issue somewhat. Again, you've got to be really careful in Ryan's position. He doesn't have a very good stack. The 100. 100 sounds like a big number, but when it's green in this game, it really doesn't mean a single thing. You can't actually even really use the entire green armor, even with a mega health, because it's only like a 25% or less protection on that green armor, so it's a bit misleading how good it is. Although we will start to see a lead being forged here. Another fight taken by Ryan. He'll eventually die. He got some good damage in there. Let's check the scoreboard now as we see that Ryan is indeed one frag ahead of his opponent, who is in the lead by one. And he's got a great stack to work with here. If he plays defensively with rockets, he should be good for the next kill as well. Looking to work the positioning here. In the corner of the map, replenishing his armor. Smart moves here from Fwiz. Can't pick up the green. Again, has too much yellow. Gets spotted there. Doesn't... Ooh, good trade of damage, actually. I was going to say, doesn't like the look of that fight. He did take the first bit of damage, but he's able to trade it right back, and he wants to take the fight. Moving forwards, but perhaps he'll regret that one. Nice defensive work coming in from Minkim, and that's going to be Fwiz stuck on the jump pad a little bit there. Able to wiggle his way free eventually. Fwiz now off that spawn, so strong. Score equalized. Right now, Minkim trying to play the defense. He needs to play the defense. He's much lower on the health and armor. Great bounce there. Follows it up. Catches Minkim with the mid-air rockets, or rather the splash damage as he was airborne, and that's going to be a solid frag, but got to be careful again. Good damage around the pillar here. Nice dance moves from Fwiz, and he will eventually die, but I think he did very well in that fight. Let's switch over to his opponent. We can see just how weak Minkim is after that fight. Needs the red armor. Fails the rocket jump. That's a big moment. We haven't got too much time left in this. Both players quite close together, but it is Fwiz with the lead at the moment. He's got a bigger stack. He's much stronger, much better able to take the fights. Bit of quiet as both players look for one another, and ooh, sigh of relief there for Minkim. That red armor was so desperately needed, and he picks it up. Does take some damage on the way out, but he's still looking in decent shape. We check in now on Ryan's perspective. Whoa, okay, he is stacked. So incredibly stacked. Taking a couple very bad rockets, though. 200 damage straight into his face, and all of a sudden not looking quite as good, but the red could fix that completely. If Fwiz can pick himself up that red armor, he is in very good stead here to take the next kill and to take the lead. We can see that it is still tied up 4-4. This fight is going to be the difference maker Ryan able to pick himself up another one. 5 frags now to the 4 of Min Kim, who now trails. He's looking desperately for a follow-up. He knows that Ryan must surely be very weak off the back of that last fight. He's going to find Ryan, gets the drop on him with the rockets. Good damage done, trying to follow things up there. It's Ryan to actually push the issue. Despite being so low, Ryan is bloodthirsty. He wants to get straight back in there when maybe his better sense would tell him to run. He sticks in there for the fight. Is it brave? Is it stupid? I leave you to decide, but it's going to be a tied score between these two players. Once again, 7-minute mark hit, and that means there's 2 minutes left to decide the winner from this matchup here. Last remaining matchup in the quarterfinals. It's Ryan once again to get the damage in, but he has to play responsibly now. We need to see that methodical play come in, the smarter side of things here from Ryan, as he has to protect the lead. He's got to find a way to stack back up. He's only on a green at the moment. His health looks good, but that green is not going to do him any favors in the fight. Playing up the higher ground position pretty effectively. Again, a good understanding positioning. Really important there. Trying to dive onto his opponent. Perhaps a mistake here. Great rocket to finish off, to capitalize on Ryan's dive, and it's going to be 6-6 now. It's tied up but not for too much longer. Ryan did just enough damage previously to give himself the edge and then a follow-up fight, and now he is 7-6. A minute left now, just over, as Min Kim needs to find a way to close the distance. Ryan falling back onto a yellow armor. That's a good position for him to find himself in. Ryan here, a lot of sound cues to play with. That's an incredible rocket there. That shouldn't have happened. Ryan looked in great position to take the fight. He looked like he had all the advantages. He's going to keep pushing the issue here, but that was some good damage here done by Min Kim. Min Kim's definitely dangerous right now for Fwiz. He's got to be careful. One bad rocket, and he's dead, but Ryan with a rocket across the map, finding Min Kim, homing rocket perhaps, as Fwiz just has to protect the lead now. And there it is, there's a bit of damage, 20 seconds, and Min Kim has to somehow find a frag. I don't know where from. If Ryan plays this slow and methodical, he is good to go here. He's going to advance. It's all on his opponent. Let's switch to Min Kim. Let's see if he can make it happen here. 10 seconds left to find this engagement, but Fwiz has made himself scarce. He cannot be found. There's no fight to be had, and Fwiz will be the winner, eliminating Min Kim, the veteran. Today's been a good day for the newcomers. A very impressive performance there from Fwiz. He said he was going to whoop some ass, and I think we saw that. It was close though, but very impressive performance, and holding on to that pride, it seems.
Dan, you talk about pride, and I'm straight up bursting with it here because I feel like I called this victory even when Ryan wasn't confident in himself. And it takes a big man to party foul in the middle of my stage. So, you know, you earned it. You earned it. What do you want to say to the people?
If it wasn't like me beating his ass wasn't enough, he had to knock my drink over as well. That's just a sore loser.
Wow, that's some harsh bar politics there from your competitor. You and Min, you know, you're buddies. What does it feel like to beat him in the field of Quake?
It feels great, to be honest with you. It's like riding a bike, to be quite frank. I should have beat him by more, to be quite frank.
Well, I'm excited for you. You performed so well here in this tournament. You know, you got a posse out front. I couldn't help but ignore them. Tell me a little bit about the crew.
I love you. I love my family. Shout out to the gaming team here at YouTube. We're here in full force. We're ready to show up tonight.
Well, that's brilliant. I'm going to let you get back to them, talk a little bit of strategy while Dan and I get down to brass tacks. Once again, with the bracket, we have now our next round. We are getting so close to the finals, Dan.
I feel like we also have our first villain of the tournament as well. I feel like that guy could actually be a Bond villain if he really, really wanted to. But
in his spare time, that's what he does.
It wouldn't really surprise me.
He hangs out at the Skyfall Lounge. Usually you have to pay for autographs, but it was really lucky we got him on the discount for this.
I'm so happy he's here too. We've got drinks being spilled on the stage. I think he's really ignited the competition here. So I hope everyone can live up to that. And as you say, it's time to check out the brackets and see exactly what's going on now. So starting to get pretty deep into this competition. We move into the semi-finals. We've got Nicolo Maisto versus Kieran Fitzpatrick. So already we saw Nicolo Maisto. He looked like one of the harder opponents to beat. He opened things up in the playoff bracket. Very methodical play. I think he's going to be scary here, but Kieran also surprised us today Rachel.
That's right. I'm back with Kieran now. We've covered a lot of topics. I've been interviewing you quite a bit up here because you have been winning and winning over and over again. Kieran, what inspires you to win?
Wow, that's a really good question. It's the love of the game. The love of the game.
Well, we got to talk to Ryan a little bit about the crew that he brought here to the event. And actually, I want to check in with you. You have a pretty incredible crew with you here, or did you come solo?
Yeah, fantastic crew. Kenji Kawakami and Adam Sessler. Just best dudes.
And tell me a little bit about what you and your company do.
Yeah, so we do game analytics, so machine learning applied to your typical social analytics.
We got him, guys. It's machine learning. He's cheating. Are you cheating right now, Kieran?
There might be an aimbot installed.
Well, you know what? It's whatever it takes to win here. We signed up for this when we didn't invite pros. When we brought out the CEOs and the tech guys, we figured you guys would have some stuff up your sleeve. So do you have anything special here going up against Nicolo of Faceit?
No, I did watch his first match, and looks like it'll be tough.
It's going to be tough. Do you need a minute? Should I let you settle and get ready?
I think I got the nerves.
I'm going to let you work out those nerves. Dan, let's check in with you and Nicolo over there.
Yeah, I'm here with Nick. Okay, so Nick, your opponent there, very humble. He thinks it's going to be a tough match. A lot of respect there. How do you feel like it's going to go? Because he's been playing pretty well today.
So I've seen him playing against Randy, and I'm pretty confident I'm going to lose. So it's important to have low expectations, right?
Okay, you're confident you're going to lose. Okay, so fair enough. I don't know what to do with that, Nick. As far as interviews go, I'm trying to hype this up. So so if you don't plan to lose, so you're confidently going to lose, I think you need to do this one for me, Nick. I've worked for the company for a long time. I want to see you win. I want to have pride when I see you sitting over here in this booth. Me and Sturmy as ex-pro Quake players, I look up to you, Nick.
Yeah, no, you should have trained me, right?
Okay, you got me there. All right, so looks like Nicolo is very underprepared, which is brilliant. I don't buy that for a moment. I think we saw some great performances earlier. Rachel, what do you make of this?
Well, I actually heard a little story about this, Dan, that, in prior DICE Quake tournaments run by Faceit, Nicolo did undergo training. He worked very hard with the Sturmy. He put everything into his practice, and he did not win. And so I think the fact that he showed up here today without training with Sturmy, without training with you, shows that he does not value your judgment at all, Dan.
I'm just a bit sad. I just wanted to have Nicolo up there. I wanted to see him perform well. I wanted to have some pride, company pride. But, well, that's all out the window. Maybe. We did see him play once already, and I think he's just trying to sell us a lie. So,
well, there's one thing I'm absolutely going to be looking for in this round. Let's see if Nicolo can get that red armor. And Dan, let's see if he can clear this victory.
All right, so we got Nick over there. Doesn't sound very confident. We got Kieran over there. He thinks it's going to be a tough match. Doesn't matter. The time for words is over, and now it's the time for rockets and time for lightning, as the case may be. So, into the first 30 seconds here. No frags exchanged, just a bit of damage. We're on Nicolo at the moment. Let's see if Nicolo can find a good engagement. Again, we saw him earlier running the map pretty slow. He understands the basic strategies here. We can see him going for the rocket jumps, already looking a little bit better than earlier when he missed it a few times in a row. Only two attempts there needed. Nice move there from Kieran, though, able to get the drop on Nicolo as he was trying to move forwards into center map to get information. The information comes his way in the name of rockets in his back. Nicolo trying to escape the situation. If we just check Kieran's perspective now, we can see him looking to press the issue. Nicolo going for that rocket jump again. Nails it the first time. That was perfect timing. If he failed the rocket jump there, that surely would have been a frag for Kieran. But now Kieran's on the back foot instead. Kieran has to fall back. We see that he falls back onto the yellow armor. That's exactly what you want to do. Fall back onto the armor. It's a good rule of thumb. Some good rockets there from Nicolo. Kieran was looking for a way into that red armor area, a way to punish Nicolo for trying to pick up the biggest item on the map. But he is unable to do so due to good map awareness from Nicolo. Once again showing that he has, if not done any training this time, he's done some training in the past for this. Nicolo will be able to finish it off in the end. Kieran goes down, but he's quick off the spawn for a follow-up there. Bringing the LG and the rocket launcher to bear, but can't quite find Nicolo. Nicolo understanding the advantage of playing passively there, but still, Kieran forces the issue. He will not allow Nick to run. There is no hiding here on Aerowalk. That's one of the reasons we picked it. It's very hard to run for too long. One of the things as well is that we have the teleporters, which can be a bit disorientating, but we'll get back to that. We've got Nicolo there defending the red armor area pretty effectively once again. Good direct rocket coming in. His follow-up there is to be made by Kieran. Switches to the LG. Nicolo mid-fight going for the rocket jump. Fancy stuff there. Pays off wonderfully well as he not only picks up the red mid-fight, but finishes off the frag as well. But if we switch to Nicolo, we'll see that he's actually in pretty good stead still. Pretty decent position on the health and armor. Let's see if he's able to continue things here. Actually going to miss a couple rockets. That's the opening Kieran needed to get in there. Past the defensive lines into Nicolo's face. Gets the frag. Good rockets off the spawn though from Nicolo to keep the pressure up as he tries to keep the action on. And he has nothing other to do other than stay in good positions and make sure he doesn't run into any damage here. That's what Nicolo's doing. Sometimes just playing the slow game works out very well, as your opponent will sort of come to you, or you can catch them moving from position to position as you stay in a really nice upper area of the map, which is easy to defend. And Nicolo does that. He falls down as he spots the engagement opportunity, and you can see patience rewarded. Kieran there, unable to take the fight, unable to defend. Good timing there from Nicolo, but good rockets off the spawn here. Kieran fighting back. Let's see if he can follow up here. Using the rockets really nicely there. 3 solid connections. Nicolo spawning by the red. Let's check Kieran's perspective. Fresh off the fight, looking to actually recover fairly well. He's picked up a yellow, so stacking up kind of nicely. Nicolo protecting the red armor position. Nicolo cannot take the red armor yet because he is still fresh off the spawn. He still has maximum health and armor. Kieran, though, understanding doesn't bode well to force the issue on the fight. Does spot Nicolo, though, trying to go for the red armor. Looking to try to punish him as he goes for the rocket jump. Nicolo, though, nailing the rocket jump. Still, though, Kieran wants to keep the pressure up. Will fall back and away towards the yellow armor. Really smart movement around the map. Kieran definitely showing he has that Quake experience here. Understanding when to engage, when to disengage. Once again, we see the same story repeating itself. Nicolo really understanding the value of the higher positions of the map, of the red armor position. Kieran keeps trying to attack into that spot, but he can't quite find a way in, which shows that Nicolo's got some good rocket defense over there. Kieran may have to adjust. He may have to try to take the high ground if he wants to get into that red armor area, and maybe going for that here. We'll see him potentially working the teleporters. Nicolo not moving a muscle here from this red armor area. Here it is, the perfect approach. Not up the stairs, but on the upper level to challenge Nicolo. And he goes in with the lightning gun. Good choice here. The lightning gun quite difficult to hit, but Nicolo with a superior stack. I think the damage traded evenly, but Nicolo comes away with the frag, and that does put him in the lead, but so barely. It's traded out there off the spawn. Really good position for Kieran now. He's equalized in a position where he can have a better fight potentially. He's got the high ground. Goes for the red armor pickup, gets it. Now so finding a good engagement. Looks like he's going to be able to do that. Perfect LG, would you look at that? Only takes 100 damage in exchange for 400 damage. That is a good exchange. I'm not a math major, so I don't need to work that one out. That was a very, very strong fight from Kieran, and that is the kind of fight that goes a really long way in a very close matchup, which this has thus far been. Kieran, though, now he looks to defend this lead as he forces Nicolo into those defensive rockets, as he backs away, continuing to backpedal now, trying to work his way into safe positions, using the sound of his opponent moving around the map to work out how to maneuver, doing so pretty effectively. But again, we see Nicolo going back for his bread and butter, which is controlling the red armor area. That's something that Nicolo's been very good at, but he is not winning at the moment, so he needs to find a more aggressive playstyle to take this away from Kieran. Nicolo said he was confident he was going to lose. So again, don't really know what to do when a competitor says that to you, being the interviewer, but we'll see if he can somehow turn it around. Perhaps it will be a self-fulfilling prophecy there for him. Kieran a lot more humble than Nicolo in that sense, I would say. Nicolo getting some damage in there. Kieran running away still, trying to hold on to that lead as best he can. Nicolo, though, eventually getting a situation where he pressures Kieran into a suicide there with the rockets. And that will tie things up here. But Nicolo, if we switch to his perspective, we can see that his armor position is very bad. If he nails the rocket jump, which he does, that is huge. That is so important. That equalizes the situation. Now Nicolo only needs one good fight to get back into this. That's all he needs. And there's not much time left. 1.5 minutes remaining in this matchup. And Nicolo needs a very, very good fight. But it's been Kieran who has consistently shown us some really good lightning gun work. And that might be the weapon that really separates these two players. We'll have to see. Kieran fails the rocket jump to the red armor. Nicolo, though, when it matters most, he fails it. His opponent off the spawn here. Nicolo has over 1 minute to hold on to his lead. If he can get the red armor pickup, he'll be in a really good position to win this game. He fails the rocket jump again to the red armor. And in failing it, he loses the frag as well. Kieran might be in a better position here, using the lightning gun once again. He doesn't win the fight, but Nicolo's very, very weak here. Fails the rocket jump again. Still away in. Kieran pressing the issue off the spawn. He knows he has to. It's the only play. He's got to make it. He's got to keep the action on Nicolo. He can't allow him to recover. And so far, he's doing a decent job, but Nicolo allowed some amount of respite here. Some moment of calm as the red armor's left up. And oh my God, it seems like when it matters the most, Nicolo can't quite find the rocket jump he needs when the pressure is on. That red armor would really even things up here. The green armor doesn't mean anything, and eventually he gets it. If we switch positions here, we're on Kieran's perspective. Kieran, 15 seconds here to tie things up, chasing the frag. Right now, Nicolo knows he just has to run. He only needs to run right now. Kieran can't find him. He's trying to bear down on his position, but he can't quite seem to find him. Starting to look very nervous indeed. No time left. Nicolo, by the skin of his teeth, able to take this one. So close between these two players. I can't quite believe it, but Nicolo managed to do it. Oh my God. The nerves, Rachel. I can't imagine what it felt like to play the last 15 seconds for those two players.
I know. He couldn't give you a straight answer in your interview about feeling confident, but that's because he had to cover all his bases, right? Now that he's a victor, I hope we can get some insight into what's really going through his mind, because I know, Nicolo, come up here. We got some questions for you. Are you sandbagging this tournament? Do you know this expression?
No.
It means you act like you're crap, so everyone lowers their expectations, and then you bite at them from below.
No, the only thing I did was applying the only thing that Sturmy taught me, and that's hiding.
Sturmy taught you one thing, and he taught you to hide?
Like, just hide. When they're coming for you, just hide.
I wish, Sturmy, you out there, is that because of his skills? Sturmy does not agree with this assessment of his coaching. Well, Nicolo, you got an incredible team of Quake resource here at Faceit. You've got Dan, you've got Sturmy. If you were to win this tournament, does that give you bragging rights over the two of them?
Of course. I already won against Sturmy once at Call of Duty, and I'm still bragging about it. That was 6 years ago, so I think it gives me bragging rights.
So you beat Sturmy in Call of Duty 6 years ago. Sturmy, do you remember that? Is that fresh? That's still fresh. That still hurts. And well, Nicolo, you just crushed someone else here today. You are now headed to the finals of the tournament. Do you think you have what it takes?
Hopefully. I mean, I'm waiting for Ryan. If I play against Ryan, I have a chance.
That is true. We shall see. Ryan's getting ready to station over there. Nicolo, I'm going to let you head backstage, chill out just a second. And Dan, I think some thoughts about these next two competitors here.
Yeah. So I think Ryan was a bit of a surprise for us. I mean, it's hard to know what to make of his skills. Obviously, like the console background, and it's hard to have respect for that. This is a PC purist type game, but he actually performed pretty well. He played pretty smart, some good aim there. But I feel like I'm leaning towards Sean here. You know, Sean, again, we see the skill that he has. We saw him make a pretty awesome comeback earlier. I think it's got to be Sean, right?
You know what? I put my money on Ryan before when he wasn't expressing a lot of confidence, and that paid off for me. I think I'm going to do it again here. He's got this X factor coming in fresh, a little cocky. He's spread his drink about the stage, I'm assuming in active territorial ownership. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, why don't we take one last look at the bracket and see where everything lies, because this next match between Sean and Ryan is going to determine our finals.
Absolutely. It's going to be quite an interesting affair. Again, just that prospect of Nicolo versus Sean or Ryan is very, very interesting in of itself. But again, for me, it's nice to see Sean doing well. A guy that keeps coming back. What has he got to say, Rachel?
Well, Sean, you keep coming back. What brings you back to Quake and DICE and this tournament?
The free booze.
Excellent answer. I see you guys in the center making great use of that. I hope that turns into cheers as we get closer and closer to our final match. We got a lot on the line here, money for charity. What do you think about our whole initiative with charity and what we're doing here today?
Oh, I think it's awesome. I mean, the ability to play for a charity, any of these charities, is great. I'm playing for the Michael J. Fox Parkinson's Research Association, so my father has Parkinson's, so near and dear to my heart.
That is a worthy cause, and you have incredible skills to put behind it as you inch closer and closer to the victory here. All you have to do is overcome Mr. Ryan Wyatt next. How are you feeling about your odds?
Well, I was feeling much better about my odds when I thought it was Min Kim that I was going to play, because Min Kim is easy to beat. Just in case you missed that, that's Min Kim that I was talking about.
You were talking about Min Kim, and you were saying that at the game of Quake, he would be easy to defeat. That's Mr. Min Kim?
Yes, Min Kim. Easy to beat. I'm not sure about Ryan, though.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a wild card here with Ryan. Dan, how's he feeling about this matchup?
That's a good question. I can see more gamer juice here. He seems to be prepared from that perspective. So it seems like you got the ritual down, Ryan. And when was the last time you competed in anything, like gaming-wise?
2007.
Okay, so that has been a while. And I feel like I saw you on stage, fired up. Like, how's it feeling so far to be back?
Oh, it's a great feeling to be up here. I'm really enjoying it. I have no idea what to expect. Sean Dunn is actually the name of my best friend, so he's not good at video games, and I'm hoping there's some kind of correlation here.
All right, so just now you're asking me, like, how much damage does a rocket jump do? And so you're trying to get the last minute hints, tips, and facts, and so on. So you're learning on the job right now. Of course, Sean Dunn's been here before. He knows the drill. Like, what's made the biggest difference so far?
I actually have to give a shout out to Sturmy, who gave me some quick tips. They were a little bit different than what they gave Nick as well. So we'll see. I'm going to keep the high ground, and I know how much damage a rocket does, so I think I got my rocket jumps down too.
Okay, so any words for Sean before we go live?
Wish me luck.
All right, thank you very much, Ryan. Rachel, we've got a match on our hands.
Is that a thumbs up or thumbs down? Are you feeling like wishing Ryan luck? Oh, well, he's going to wish you some luck there, Ryan. I hope it does well for you.
Wow, wishing someone luck, wishing your opponent luck.
That's my boy. I picked him to win, so I also wish you luck, Ryan. And Dan, I wish you luck too, as you have to cast this match.
All right, yes, this is going to be an interesting one. Ryan and Mr. Veteran, Mr. Sean Dunn. Let's see if Sean can go further this year, reclaim that trophy. Of course, Tim Willis is not here. He can't take the trophy back from Tim Willis, but he can continue his legacy. But let's see if Fwiz can ruin that for him. Fwiz picking things up pretty quickly, I think we saw from the last one. Again, he was asking me about how much damage does a rocket jump do, because he actually killed himself in the first matchup just previous with a rocket jump because he didn't know how much damage it did. So hopefully we'll see some better rocket jumps. He was just practicing them. We've already begun to see the importance of the movement mechanics in this game, how important it is to make sure that you can get yourself to that red armor safely. It is such a game breaker, and it's kind of cool to witness it because it's under pressure as well. We see the players trying to make a hard jump under pressure that they're not practiced in, and it just makes it can win you or lose you the game. So very cool element to this. And again, the players who have been coming back every year are going to be familiar with that. But enough idle chit-chat here about the background. We've got a minute of play so far. Neither player has yet scored a frag. Let's check in with Sean Dunn's perspective. He has more armor than his opponent right now. Fwiz is struggling. He needs a red armor. Sean could use one as well, but he's got the yellow. Better than what Fwiz has, which is the green. Let's quickly check Fwiz's position again. Fwiz takes the fight. But be quite careful with this. Going to be falling back again, though. Making a jump across the map, trying to escape. Jumping back towards Sean, picks up the yellow mid-fight. Brilliant Rockets down to 1 health, though, and the trade comes in. The question is, how good was the damage in the meantime? As he pursues with the action, the Rockets, they keep coming, and Sean takes down Ryan, but he kills himself in the process. It's really hard to understand who gets the better of this situation, of these altercations, of these exchanges. Now, as the Rockets keep flying, and both players, they want to fight, and that's exactly what happens. Ryan gets the better of it. Actually, off the spawn, he's getting attacked from the back, and that's really problematic. There may have, if his opponent, if Sean Dunn had gotten a different spawn, Ryan would have had 5 seconds to go for rocket jump to the red armor, and he'd be in a better position. But alas, for Ryan, that's not the case. So now he has to try to do as much damage as he can before he dies. And he did some damage, and we can see that it wasn't a lot. Got rid of most of the red armor from Sean, but if Sean gets the yellow armor here, he's in a decent position. So let's see if Sean is interested in that. He's going to be going for the fight straight away, and he will pick up the green in the process. Trying to disengage. Again, smart stuff from Sean. Going for the teleporter. Will find himself in the mix in the fight once more, but Fwiz not wanting to take that fight, backs away. You can see that we can see Sean is very weak. We tag in onto Ryan's perspective. We can see he's in a good position right now. It's tied. So Fwiz is in the lead, essentially. Even though it's 2-2, Fwiz has a better stack. A much better stack. And as Sean picks up a red armor. Great rockets coming in from Fwiz. That really softens up his opponent. Sean Dunn is in a lot of trouble right now. Fwiz gets one more good rocket. That could be the end of Sean. He's looking for it. The defensive display, though, from Sean is going to keep himself alive. Keep Ryan at arm's length for a moment longer as he goes for the pursuit here. Connecting some good rockets, and actually everything evens up. It's a reset. Both players completely reset. And now the whole situation starts all over again. But both players with full stacks. Now after the initial exchange here, it would bode very well for one of these two players to go back for a red armor. I'll have to see if anyone's going to be going for that. Ryan is going to continue to try to take the fight here. I'm liking this aggressive play style. I think it's something that Sean Dunn also enjoys. Both players at each other's throats the entirety of the game. We can see that Nicolo had a different strategy. He described it as hiding. He was hiding around the red armor, which definitely works out. Keeping control of the red, as we can see Sean puts him ahead in the fight. Although Ryan off the spawn there, finding Sean straight away. Doesn't get the damage he wants though. Ryan not in the best position after that. A frag behind, not getting the damage he needs to. Slowly but surely, Sean Dunn is getting ahead. Getting a bit of a lead here. Trying to continue in building the lead by putting the damage onto Ryan. But Ryan is still alive. Has an opportunity here to reset the situation, although the fight continues. Ryan cannot afford to be taking these fights. He has no health, no armor left. He needs to get himself stacked back up again. Looking for something here. Finds some health, but without any armor, it's all useless. There's a green, but again, we know how bad the green armor is. I'll keep reminding you, the green armor sucks. It is nothing compared to a red. Ryan, again, under pressure here, failing the rocket jump. Doesn't want a second go of it. They would have pushed Sean off the high ground, but not really in a position to take the fight, but still he pursues. And with precise work on the rockets, able to catch Sean. That is huge. But still, Ryan has a lot of work ahead. Ryan is not very well stacked, and he will go down. Needed that red armor, couldn't get to it. Sean blocked him and fragged him. And so right now, we check the scoreboard. Sean is ahead on 1 frag. Ryan, though, able to get the frag back, but his health is pretty bad here. He needs more armor. We switch back to Sean's perspective. We'll see Sean knowing that his best play is just finding a fight here. Just keep the pressure on. Don't allow Fwiz to get back into the action with a red armor. That will be the one big play that will put Fwiz in the driving seat once again. And that's going to be Sean catching Fwiz from the back there, around the yellow armor position. Picks up the yellow mid-fight. Good rockets to finish it off as well. Sean in control, able to extend the lead once again. Ryan, though, pressing the issue off the spawn. Now it's down to Sean to find himself a more defensible position. The yellow armor not coming up very soon. Has to be the red armor here, I think, for Sean, as he is playing around that position. Yellow will eventually spawn, though. Goes for it. Even though Ryan is lurking in this position, Ryan cannot prevent Sean from picking up that yellow armor. This is a big play here. It could put Sean ahead. Sean slowing things down here. Trying to make sure he's got a good position on the next fight. Ryan needs to catch his opponent. Again, if we double-check the scoreboard here, Ryan is one behind. Good fight there. Nice rocket out the teleporter. Ryan follows up with a second one. Doesn't take any damage in exchange. Just goes to show The power of surprise is pretty huge, and Ryan looks to follow it up with more good work with the rockets. He may die in the effort, but he'll get a lot of good damage from this. Picks up the yellow, gets some additional rocket damage there onto his opponent. Ryan, what else can he do here? 6 frags to the 5 is Sean. Ryan has a great stack, but he needs to convert that into a frag. This could be it. Catches Sean. If he picks up the red mid-fight, that'd be so important. But Sean spawns very badly for Ryan. Spawns exactly where Ryan did not want him to spawn, and that was in front of the red armor. No chance for Ryan to get himself back onto the red, but he gets the telefrag. That's massive. That was the one way back into the game. Only a minute and a half remaining, and somehow Ryan finds his way back into an equalizing situation. We go on to Sean's position. He's got a slightly better spot on the stacks, but it comes down to the fight as they exchange rockets. It's going to be hard to see who comes out ahead here, but there is a moment of quiet here. We can see that Ryan is really hurt. We go back to Sean. Sean's in the driving seat here. More health, more armor. Picks up the yellow as well. The red armor, though, that's the question mark here. Sean needs to get there. He has to prevent Fwiz from getting onto the red armor. We're about to see if Fwiz took it. Let's see, Sean is going to see that it's gone. So that means Fwiz took the red. That means they're pretty evenly stacked right now. This next fight could decide everything between these two players. A spot in the finals here at the Faceit and Quake tournament, the third annual one here at DICE. And the Rockets are looking good for Fwiz. He chases the fight and he closes it down. Not much time left here for Sean to make this work. Gets the frag back to equalize. But again, if we go into Fwiz's position, Fwiz, he has 20 seconds to stop Sean from forcing overtime. Great rockets there from Fwiz. He closes it down, but he has 10 seconds. He has to stay alive to take this position and secure his spot in the grand finals. Can he do it? 3 seconds left. Fwiz looks to be safe, and he is. In the dying moments, finds the comeback. Fwiz once again with the victory. He will be in the finals. Commiserations to Sean Dunn. Another great effort from Sean Dunn, but his journey is cut short here.
You know what? I'm going to let Fwiz leave his jacket on the setup now because he's going into the grand finals. That's officially his station now. Ryan, I don't think you understand what you've done here. Sean Dunn is a legacy participant in this tournament, a former champion, and you destroyed him.
He was a former champion?
A former champion.
Man, that must have been a long time ago, huh? Must have been a long time ago. Shoot. We should get Fatality up here next then.
Jonathan, are you out there? I wouldn't be surprised. So, Dan, you know, we talked about having our first villain in the tournament, and I'm going to encourage you, Ryan, to emerge from the shadows and into the full light so people can gaze upon the face of the man that has destroyed dreams throughout this tournament, that has ruined legacies, but all, I have to say, for a fantastic cause. So tell us again a little bit about the charity that you're going out for and Gamers Outreach.
Yeah, so I sit on the board for Gamers Outreach, led by a great gentleman named Zach Weigel. They put gaming carts in pediatric hospitals. It's a great cause. I had a Crohn's disease and a surgery when I was young, and they had a gamer cart, a Super Nintendo. So it's cool to see what he's been doing there, and hopefully I can win and we get a small contribution towards their efforts.
Well, for sure, what I'm learning about is there are a lot of amazing charities out there. So I do want to thank all the participants we've had in our tournament so far for coming out and for putting everything on the line in Quake to make some money for these wonderful causes. So, Ryan, you have one last opponent to overcome, and it's Nick from Faceit.
Ironic that it's a YouTube Faceit sponsored party, but I can promise you it's not rigged.
Yes, no one was thinking that until you said it, but now we know for sure that this was a rigged event. Well, we have the two of you up here on the stage, and Dan, you know Nick pretty well. Do you think he's going to be able to take out Ryan?
So Nick, you're confident you're going to lose, and that's what you said to me before, and you won. So what the hell are we going to make of this? You're in the finals, you're up against Fwiz. What can we expect?
As I said, I think I have a chance.
Ryan, have you ever played against Nick in a game before?
No, I haven't, but I heard he's not good, so now I'm a little nervous that he was able to get to the final spot. Sturmy said he's terrible, so we'll see.
Man.
So, Nick, are you going to employ the strategy of hiding? Now everyone has seen it. Surely you have to mix things up, right?
Yeah, I mean, as usual, hide. When Ryan comes for you, just hide.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I'm going to let you shake hands here. And for both of you, I wish you luck. For those of you in the crowd, now is the time to show your support. Who here is cheering for Ryan from YouTube? That's respectable. Dan, what do you think?
I'm cheering for Ryan as well. I mean, you can't win a game of Quake by hiding.
Isn't Nick
that
your
really
boss?
just defeats the point. Okay, I'm not happy with that answer. This is kind of tilting me a little bit. So I'm kind of rooting for Fwiz here. I think he's looking confident. We've got the air of a champion over there, and Nick, I mean.
Well, wait. This is for the fans to decide. So who out there thinks Nick from Faceit is going to be the winner of this event? All right. And again, but people that weren't paid to cheer in that moment. Nick for Faceit champion. All right. Wow, the silence is telling. All right, Dan. Well, there's only one way to settle this, and that's in the game of Quake. Are you ready to cast this match?
I am very ready for this. Very ready indeed. Again, as I said, I'm rooting for Quake to win, that's a win with Fwiz, even though he's from the console universe, and it kind of tears at my heartstrings a little bit. But I feel like he's the real representative of Quake right now. None of this hiding shenanigans. That said, it is a game of strategy, and hiding is a strategy, so we'll get to see if that works. And he knows what to expect. He's seen him play. This is going to be a good one.
It's going to be a fight for that red armor, and I can't wait to see who comes out on top.
All right, here we go. The action has kicked off between Nicolo Maisto and Fwiz of YouTube. So, let's see how things kick off here. Already a few rockets exchanged. Nothing to worry about for either player, especially not for Fwiz. He's going to be able to stack up on the yellow pretty much immediately. We switch over to Nicolo, for example. He does show that he can keep picking up those red armors. He's been very good at employing the red armor strategy. And the fight is taken, and the fight's won by Nicolo. Again, the confidence after picking up the red. He knows he's outstacking his opponent, and so he knows he's going to have the edge in the fight. However, Ryan did get some good damage off of the back of that fresh spawn that he just had. And so the question is whether or not he can keep that action up, whether he can keep Nicolo from recovering. And it looks like Ryan's stuck on the jump pad. It's one way, which is a bit confusing sometimes, but still able to come back in with the right rockets to finish off Nicolo. A moment of quiet as Nicolo starts to gather himself, get some information across the map. We'll see Ryan in the distance. Of course, that teleporter on the top of the map, that's where Ryan could have come out of. So you can see Nicolo pausing, wondering if that was the case to be, but instead Ryan attacking from a different angle. Nicolo not adapting too well to that fight. I think what we're seeing from Ryan so far is he's very adaptive in these fights, and Nicolo's all about trying to get the setups working, trying to plan the fight, trying to control things. Whereas Ryan is good at just pushing for the fight, catching his opponent off guard, and making it work with the raw skill. So perhaps it's a battle of brain versus brawn. I guess we will continue to see as things play out here. 2 minutes have gone. Nicolo with a very strong fight there, catching Ryan. And the problem with the rockets, as we saw there, is if you take the fight with rockets, your opponent has the LG. The LG is consistent damage, whereas the rockets, if you miss one, then you miss maybe 100 damage, whilst your opponent is just hitting you consistently. And so that could be a problem. Weapon choice, weapon selection, really important decision to be made in a game like this. Nice defensive rocket coming out from Nicolo, able to get a direct onto Fwiz. That's 110 damage. Although Fwiz will continue the fight, pushes the issue. Nicolo, though, we see him going back to the bread and butter, back to the red armor area. He still has a pretty decent amount of health to work with, but no armor. So the health isn't worth too much in this game without a yellow or a red armor. And there's one failure, but we see the Nicolo with that practice coming in. He's able to nail it. Let's switch over to Ryan's perspective. You can see that he's sporting a lovely green armor that will be upgraded into a yellow. But again, any disadvantage in stack, we can time and again see that Fwiz is making up for in fighting prowess. So let's see if that continues here as he pushes his way up the stairs into Nicolo, forcing him away from the red armor. Maybe a chance here. You've got to be really careful though. When you push up those stairs, it's a really inefficient fight. You see Fwiz struggling with the jump pad once again as he pushes the fight there, using the rockets, bouncing Nicolo around, and again that consistent damage output, the lightning gun, working out for Nicolo once again. In comes Fwiz though for the follow-up. Can't quite find it though. We'll get the red armor in exchange. Nicolo slowing things down a little bit as he takes his high positions once again. Things quiet again as Nicolo tries to position, running the upper parts of the map. See Ryan able to find the blind spot, but can't quite find the rocket to get the connection. Oh, that's a brilliant rocket there coming in from Fwiz. Absolutely what you need. Stopping Nicolo in his tracks. Nicolo's trying to run the routine, trying to run the circuit, but the circuit has been broken by Fwiz, and he keeps the damage on. Another great series of rockets. Does get traded out on the respawn, but that's okay. Right now, Fwiz is looking mighty fine. I am impressed. Able to combat the experience with just some raw fighting power. You can see now Fwiz controlling the area of the map that Nicolo likes to hide in. So Nicolo having everything taken away from him so far, although he does force Fwiz back in a way with those rockets, but Fwiz gets some good additional damage. I don't think Nicolo expected that. He's pushing in the fight there. Nice work coming from Fwiz. I think we even saw him trying to hit a splash damage rocket on the ceiling, which is pretty advanced. So I like that we're seeing that from Fwiz as well. Showing that he's got some tricks up his sleeve. Nice flat rocket jump there, very flat trajectory, precision. If you do a flat rocket jump like that, you actually take very minimal damage. So again, Fwiz is really coming into his own here. Looks like Nicolo is making himself scarce in this position, but if we check the scoreboard as an update, Fwiz is a frag ahead, looking good on the damage. Does lose the fight though, Nicolo. Using those defensive rockets on the upper level once again. Fighting around red armor, that seems to be Nicolo's territory where he works really well, really effectively. But still, he's behind it. He gets the frag, but he's weak. If Nicolo wants to equalize, he has to pick up the red armor. Let's check on Nicolo now, see if he can do that. Looks like he did. And again, that seems to be consistent for Nicolo. He's able to pick up those red armors with those rocket jumps. Ryan challenging there. So brave coming up the stairs. It's hard. The LG does so much damage when you're pushing up the stairs against it, and Nicolo takes full advantage. That could be a mistake here. That could cost Fwiz as he pushes in for the fight off the spawn. Knows that's how you have to play this, but he doesn't come away very well here. Nicolo is taking the lead and doing so with some good lightning work. As I say that though, he falters, he errs with the lightning, and that's an opportunity there for Ryan to get himself back into the action. 6-6, but the stacks are with Nicolo right now as he goes back to his homestead, his trusted red armor position. Looking to see where Fwiz is, finds him center map. But still, Fwiz needs the red armor, but Nicolo is well and truly in control of that. Rockets there flying in from Fwiz, trying to de-seat Nicolo from his throne, his red armor throne on Airwalk, and he'll pick up that red armor once again. If we quickly check on Fwiz, it's not the best of situations. Fwiz on our camera right now, he needs to make the damage. Once again though, the defensive rockets of Nicolo at red armor doing good work. Seemingly you have to attack Nicolo from that upper position to make it work here. Fwiz working his way around the top level. The red armor, a foreign concept for Fwiz. Nicolo taking good control of that, his strategy working out very well. Fwiz has less than 2 minutes now to find more damage, but the smart move here from Fwiz is that Fwiz is basically saying, all right, you know what? You have more armor than I do. I can't take the fight versus you. But maybe if I wait, you're going to get impatient because Nicolo always has a better stack. Nicolo should be the man getting the frag. If you have the better position, if you have the better stack, but you don't have the lead, what the hell are you doing? That's the question right now that Fwiz is asking Nicolo. If Fwiz keeps himself, if Fwiz recognizes he can't take this position away, he could force an overtime. He could force Nicolo into having to make the decision to just go aggressive against him. And that is something Nicolo doesn't like to do. We see that Nicolo's playstyle, it revolves around having his opponent make the mistake and coming to him. Speaking of which, Fwiz trying a cheeky red armor steal. I don't think it was even spawned, so that was a bit of a disaster there from Fwiz, but he will find his way back around to the red armor position. Nicolo finally treading outside of the map that he seems to... Well, the map of Airwalk seems to be just the red armor room for Nicolo, so he may be a bit unfamiliar now in foreign territory, but he will gravitate towards the red once again. Let's check on Fwiz's position. He, again, is in a disadvantage. For Fwiz to get back in, he has to hit amazing rockets. He has to get the element of surprise. He has to, like, Nicolo has to miss as well. A lot has to go right for Fwiz. And he's managed to force the overtime here. So, catching Nicolo. The LG is very strong here. Nicolo has to run back. Oh my God. Fwiz picked his moment perfectly, almost perfectly. Nicolo very weak after that fight. Now Fwiz trying to close it down, but Nicolo scored overtime. A minute for overtime here as Nicolo replenishes with the red armor. The rocket jumps hurt in the distance there from Fwiz. He knows that he's got Nicolo on the ropes. Has to be careful though. Nicolo resets the situation. Fwiz has to be so careful. In just a moment, Nicolo's turned the tables with those defensive rockets. The stack of Fwiz is terrible. This is a one-frag scenario. There's only 20 seconds left in this overtime. Fwiz has to pick a perfect moment. He doesn't get to choose at all. Nicolo with the surprise fight manages to make it work with the rockets. And now it's all on Nicolo playing defensively. And we know he can do that. It's up to Fwiz to find an equalizer. He's got to charge into Nicolo. There's not too much time left. In fact, actually, I think I misestimated the overtime here. Not going to end just yet. So there is still time. There's still 2 minutes here. 3-minute overtime, not 1. So there is still time. Ryan finding Nicolo up in the red armor area once again, forcing that issue with the rockets. The exchange there actually favoring Nicolo once again. He's been such a monster with the defensive rockets thus far. And now he knows he can finish the fight here. Keeps the pursuit on and finds Fwiz. No respite there for him. And I think Nicolo is starting to adjust. Knows he has to be slightly more aggressive. Does find a good spot for it there. You can see now that Ryan is taking his time. If we switch over to Nicolo, you can see that Nicolo in this overtime is 2 frags ahead. Nicolo in a very good position to take the victory here. If he continues in this fashion, Fwiz gets an equalizer, but he needs a fresh frag. These perfect rockets. Oh, Nicolo defends though. Keeps his scoreline alive. 2 frags in addition. 1 minute to go now for Fwiz to make the comeback. Looking very hard pressed now as Fwiz knows he has to force the issue. Finds great lightning damage. The lightning gun has been his talisman so far in this tournament. Does find the finishing damage onto Nicolo, and that's good work, but now the problem is he's not just playing against Nicolo. He's playing against the clock as well. He charges up the stairs once more. Fwiz looks for that fight, but the defensive rockets do the damage, but finds Nicolo off the spawn. This could be it. Just needs some good rockets. He finds it. Off the spawn again. Nicolo finds himself in a spot where he can keep the pressure up. Right now, Nicolo is a frag ahead. Fwiz has to take the fight. He's got to do the damage. He's got to get rid of Nicolo's lead, but he can't do it. Maybe he can do it now, though. He's off the spawn again. He has 15 seconds to find 2 kills. Nicolo is weak, so he's got to go in right now. We're on Ryan's perspective. Fwiz, can he find Nicolo? He might be able to, but he needs to get 2 quick kills here. There's 1. Needs to find a second. There is no time. Nicolo is our champion here, and he will be lifting the Faceit trophy. Great work from our contestants. Wow, that was a nail biter. An overtime, Rachel. An overtime right in the finals. I had no idea who was going to take that.
Oh, if you're going to have overtime, Dan, you might as well have it in the finals. And what an incredible match that was. We're arranging ourselves up here with the prizes, but I'm going to need Mr. Ryan Wyatt. Oh, no, you're not escaping, Fwiz. Come on up here. We got a little something special to commemorate the evening for you as well. So step into the light. Actually, all you gentlemen, take a big step forward into the sunshine. Why don't we come up here in front of the podium? Oh, nice. All right, nice. Come on. I want them to see your faces. Ryan, this is for you. This is our runners-up trophy here at the Faceit Dice Quake tournament. Hold it high. Give it a smooch, maybe. Oh, like StarCraft. It's beautiful. You are our runner-up here today. You do not get to pass go collect any money for your charity, but you do get to bask for just a moment in the light. Same charity? You guys are charity bros? No way. Well, congratulations to you then the same. And our winner, Nick, did you have this whole tournament just so you could stand up here as the victor?
Yeah, that's what I have to do in order to win, actually. Jokes aside, they gave me quite a lot of pain after last year's tournament. And this time I had to train a bit. I didn't really find time to train, but I played a lot of PUBG. which apparently helped my aim.
Hey, PUBG requires lots of great aim too, and that's what we saw on display here in this tournament. Dan, what else did we see from Nick here that earned him this $2,500 for the charity of his choice?
I mean, I think he showed one of the reasons why Quake was one of the first esport titles. It's a lot of strategy. It's a very basic game, but that's where the beauty lies. In the simplicity, we saw the strategies that you're using, Nick. I don't know if you would call them that, but I'm going to call them that to make you sound awesome. We saw some slow plays, trying to control the map, control the positioning, strategic choices there. I mean, esports is a new thing for you, essentially. I mean, 5 years ago, you started Faceit. You started with Quake. I mean, that's an incredible journey for you. You were new to esports. What does it mean like for you?
Well, it's, as you said, it was a new thing for me, and I finally got the joy of winning a tournament, so I guess I know how you guys have been feeling so far.
Oh, I'm so glad that you can experience the thrill of victory. And not only that, you get to do the full esports experience and take home this incredible trophy and this giant check. Ladies and gentlemen, the champion of our Quake tournament here at DICE by Faceit, none other than Nicolo. Dan, that's $2,500 for Gamers Outreach, an incredible performance here today. I think I want to wrap it up by saying thank you for your incredible casting, and thank you to the company of Faceit for putting on this wonderful event. Also, thank you to the Academy for making it all possible.
Absolutely. Honestly, like it's so cool to be able to just give tribute to some of the origins of esports, to spread some awareness too. And hopefully, you know, there's some new competitors like out there right now.
I see them, Dan. I see the new
competitors on the trophy for next year, because I think that people want to get their hands on this. Hopefully we can keep developing it and keep just spreading the joy of esports.
Absolutely. The joy of esports, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that's what we leave you with here tonight. As you go out, enjoy the rest of DICE. Thank you for your time and your support in this incredible event.
Awesome.